Check, check, check. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3. Welcome or welcome back. I am your illustrative host, Michael DiNicola. This is the start of the stream. Here I am. You can see me waving my pencil around. As always, I like to start off the beginning of my stream showing you guys what I've most recently worked on during the last stream or just on my own time. Thank you guys for being here. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons for your support, your ongoing support. Thank my Twitch subscribers, my YouTube members. You guys are awesome. Thank the old Discord pals and anybody on any other social media application who consistently comes out and shows support. Thank you guys. I really appreciate the hell out of it, as well as to my chat here on YouTube and Twitch. Hello, welcome or welcome back. I have my coffee right here for you. This is the most recent drawing I did just the other day on stream, a couple days ago. Getting a little bit of a late start to the day. I had a bunch of errands I needed to run around the house with. I got on my hands and knees like a kitchen wench, scrubbing the floors, doing all that. Yeah, something stunk in the kitchen. I couldn't figure out what it was. So I just cleaned everything and it went away. So I don't know what stunk, but we did it. We got rid of it. And now I'm free to draw live for each and every one of you guys. What's up, Bale? Bale reminding you to check out my Patreon. All right, here we go. Oh, so this was just a little, you know, my normal practice sessions. You know how I like to roll. You know how I like to hang. Hello, Bale. Bale's here. Bale is, I'm surprised you're up this late, Bale. All right, where were we? Let's see what we have on the docket today. This one's finished. 2 color, some halftone. Finished. We have this one. We have a couple we need to color, a couple we need to ink. Let's get the clock. Let's get the clock going. Put the clock on me, baby. It's sketching time. Let me see if I can't position my camera a little better. Oh, somebody subscribed to my YouTube channel just a few hours ago, just 5 hours ago. No idea who that person is. Oh, brother. Where were we? I wonder what will come to me off the top of my head today. Alexa, what's the temperature outside?
Right now, it's 69 degrees Fahrenheit.
69,
Tonight,
dude.
Expect a low of 51 degrees.
69, how dare she?
I couldn't find 69.
Yeah, you could. All right. Hey, Matt. Appreciate you being here. It's a little late for my you know.
Yeah, I'm taking Thursday nights off. So.
Nice. Well, welcome. As always, welcome, buddy. Have you watched The Rings of Power yet? The newest one?
No. We are at season 7, last episode of the season. So we basically got the worst season left to watch, and then we can move on.
Okay, nice. I'm behind on Rings of Power. I haven't watched the newest episode of She-Hulk either.
I caught a clip of the Lord of the Rings show, and it didn't look very good to me.
It's not very good. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is not great. It's middling. It's 5 to 6.
With that amount of 15 million an episode with a 5 to 6 is disappointing.
It is wildly disappointing how uninteresting. And listen, I'm not a lore guy, so I don't care race swapping, lore changing. None of that really does anything for me one way or another. I'm kind of neutral on it all. I'm kind of used to it.
I think the Tolkien nerds are pissed because they they don't have the licensing to any of the lore. So basically, like, basically like anything that they're doing has nothing to do with the original lore because they didn't pay for that.
Right. So if you don't know, Amazon bought the rights to The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and that's it. The Silmarillion, which includes the vast amount of story regarding the First and Second Age, they don't have the rights to that at all. So they are trying to tell a story that they like literally it's illegal for them to tell. If they were to use anything deliberately that was in the Silmarillion and not alluded to in the trilogy, they could be sued by the Tolkien estate. So their arms are kind of tied. So they threw away a lot of lore. They added a bunch of lore that wasn't in there, and they changed a bunch of things around. So yeah, the Tolkien nerds are quite upset about it, and then some are upset about, you know, the character appearance changing or race swapping. I've got no qualms about it, or I don't have any real issues with the physical stuff. I just wish the goddamn story was better. That's all. Earthbound's right in the chat. The Wheel of Time wasn't all that great either. Oh, Nicky.
Aw.
Wheel of Time.
Are you late,
great.
homie?
I was working on.
Okay?
Yeah, no. I had housework I needed to do. Had to do some cleaning, some
Chores?
cooking. Yeah. No, the apartment was getting a little messy, so I had to.
The Wheel of Time definitely didn't catch my eye after a certain amount of episodes. I stopped watching it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the Wheel of Time. The Wheel of Time.
Twime. The Wheel of Twime.
No, I heard the Wheel of Time is a great series. Funny thing about that, Earthbound knows this. He's read the series. The original author never finished his book.
What is with it with these guys not finishing their fucking stories?
He didn't finish it because he died.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's got an excuse.
That's a poor excuse at best.
Well,
Yeah.
I feel like a dickhead. Sorry.
Yeah, so there's that.
Whoops.
Earthbound feels the same way. Were you wearing an apron and singing Queen songs? Well, I do live in Queens. But no, I wasn't singing any Queen songs. I was actually listening to that Richard Friend video that you sent me, Bill. As I was doing the dishes, I had my gloves on. I had my dishing gloves on because my hands get real fucking dry after doing. This is a 100-year-old apartment. We don't have a dishwasher. I mean, we do have a dishwasher, and it's me.
It's you.
Yeah.
Do you have like little is it furry at the end of your gloves?
No, furry. What the fuck is that?
I don't know. You know, like those like fancy gloves. They're not really fancy, but like some of the girls get it. They're like frilly or whatever at the end of it.
No.
I see them, but I don't. Oh, really? I don't know. They
I
look
don't
like.
even know. I'm not in the loop.
Do you get yours from the dollar store? Because that's where I usually get mine.
No, I got mine from the Container Store.
Oh, look at you, fancy pants.
That's me. Listen, I'm a classy
You use
bitch.
Scrub Daddy too?
No, that's that happy face thing, right?
Yeah, I hear that.
I don't use that now.
Cause like I don't like the way sponges smell. Like, you know what I mean? Like you could use them for so long and then you could throw them out, whatever. But like, sorry, I just heard like knocking on my door. It freaked me out.
Skinwalker.
But the Scrub Daddy you could actually put in the dishwasher. Like the material is not the same as any other, well, from what I read, sponge. And I was like, damn, I really want to, because that grosses me out. If I have to wash dishes, I don't care. But I just feel like there's so much bacteria built into like the regular standard sponge, you know? I've been doing like hard research on that the other day.
I know. I go through sponges, you know? Like the second the thing starts
Yeah.
looking gross, it's immediately right in the trash.
Right.
Well, Earthbound says, well, they stayed pretty true to the original material. So I guess that just goes to show you. What's up, Bearded? It doesn't matter if it's Lord of the Rings of Power, or which is not lore, you know, which diverts heavily from the lore. Or it's apparently the Wheel of Time, which adheres to the lore. and that because they both suck. So it doesn't exactly matter now, does it? Speaking of lore, how many of you guys are upset in regards to the changing of the ethnicity of Ariel, the Little Mermaid? Matt's pissed.
I don't give a shit about her color, but the girl's ugly.
She has one thing I noticed. I don't know anything about Haley Berry, aside from
Her mother's alive.
her mother's what?
Isn't is that Halle Berry's daughter, or
Is
it's
it?
the same last name? I don't know. I thought it said Halle Berry at first when I first said. I was like,
That bitch
is she
is
a little
old.
old for Ariel? Like,
Yeah. No, Haley Berry. Her eyes are really fucking far apart.
yeah, they really, and it threw me off at first. And my first thing was like, well, at least they got someone that looks like a fish.
Looks like a fish. Yeah, I had the exact same fucking thought. It's like, well, she is fish-like. Strike boy, what's up? She a damn fish. Wow, bearded jalapeno, me and Matt all at the same time saying that she looks aquatic.
Mm-hmm.
It's her daughter,
Yep.
bud. Is it? It's her daughter, bud.
I thought it would be.
Is Halle Berry's daughter? Is that true or is that fake?
No, it's Courtney Bailey and Doug Bailey's daughter.
Oh, Doug Bailey
Oh, it's Bailey. Okay, not Bailey.
from the Baltimore Baileys. There are some. These are some nice shapes. You're a nice shape, Beardo. I could literally care less what color she is.
Yeah.
Same. It doesn't matter. And it is weird that people were like, "But her skin wouldn't have melanin if she's underwater." And it's like if she were underwater, her skin that far underwater, there wouldn't be light. Sunlight doesn't permeate more than I think 300 to 700 feet at water level. So anything below that, you're in pitch black. Therefore,
Michael, I think you're purposely being ignorant here. I understand what he's saying. Here's the thing, right? For one thing, if you're a fish, you know, and we're in a world, I guess, right, that fish people are real, and in that world, how dare they be black? Because I know from my historical fish people knowledge that none of them have ever been black. So I'm just damn angry that we've allowed this travesty. I
yeah.
have science to back me up. The same scientists who were investigating COVID are on this, believe me.
Oh, okay. All right. Fauci's on the case. Little Mermaid case.
Yeah, he'll be doing a press conference soon.
We're in good hands as long as I get my Fauci doll. Earthbound. Aren't anglerfish black who live way in the dark? Are they? I mean, feel free to Google it. Most of the fish that I've seen that are in the deep sea are translucent. And a fair amount of them have a certain bioluminescence in order to navigate down there and hunt for food.
They look like skin color, like the
Yeah, like a blobfish.
Yeah, what's that called?
Yeah.
Like when
I don't really think you can
Pinkish.
label fish like the same. You know, like people are like, there's black and white fishes, and there's like, no, there's just fish of different colors, but like there's no black and white. There isn't schools of fish that are like, nah, fuck that black school of fish. Like that doesn't exist in the fish world. It's either predators or not. It's all just fish.
See,
I think the bigger question is, how come there's never any goo or residue left by her big fin?
yeah, she would be a little viscous, right? She is a fish after all.
There could be something, some sort of slime.
Well, she's got scales. Anybody who's ever gone fishing knows that those fish could be a little slimy. Just ask Bale every time he goes to the bar in Bulgaria.
Oof. That one stings.
It's like ectoplasm. I care more about
I got slimed again.
I care more about doing dishes than what color a mythical creature is. Yeah, well, another one of the arguments I heard was, it's like, yeah, but what about the source material? What about what was it, Hans Christian Andersen? It's like, well,
Source material.
well, Disney already fucking butchered that. The source material has damn near nothing to do with the Disney movie. Like in the source material, it is gruesome. It's described that when Ariel walked upon the shore, it was as if she was she was stepping on nothing but broken glass. it was apparently excruciating for her to be human. And there's all kinds of other weird shit in the book that's not in the book, in the original story. Listen, man, those are sick fucks at the time. Those are, we're dealing with human beings who were something else in that timeline, time frame. Anyway, the movie.
I don't know. I'm just saying that if white skin, red hair is the dream that Disney sold me and my kin, and that's what I'm gonna miss.
I saw there was one YouTuber I saw that was going. He was screaming. He was like, "You are ruining childhoods."
Bro, if your entire childhood is
It's ruined.
that disturbed by a black Little Mermaid,
Yeah.
then you are way too invested in that shit.
Dude, he was like, "This is almost akin to child abuse." And I was like,
Oh.
wow. And then, of course, it's the "if I had children." And it's like, oh, okay. Oh,
If my kids were alive 30 years ago like I was, they would be sad too, but they don't know anything about anything because they're children now.
oh, you know who that was? Bale. You probably know this YouTuber. It was the YouTuber Overlord DVD. He was legit yelling. It was kind of weird. It was weird to see a grown man
Yeah, it is
so passionate about nonsense.
So passionate about Little fucking Mermaid.
Yeah. What? Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? And then you think, oh, maybe it's all bullshit. Like maybe it's always, all right. It's the duality of it. It's either A, he believes what he's saying and he's completely fucking unhinged, right? Or B, he doesn't feel that way much at all, but he's turning it up.
Yeah, he could be playing a character.
Exactly. He's playing a character and he's trying to rile up his audience. He's trying to get them upset. But man, the leaps, the stretches. He should change his name to Mr. Fantastic. He was stretching so much. Oof.
That was shoehorned.
Quick. Slap Nikki in the face. Slap the food right out of her mouth.
It's an ice cube.
What? An ice cube?
Yeah, I was drinking something.
You're drinking ice cubes? She swallows them
No.
whole, like a shark.
Like a shark.
Wait. I'm just teasing. Do sharks chew? They must, right? All those teeth? Or are those teeth mostly for killing? Anybody? Earthbound probably knows. Hey, what's that? Hey, what country has...
behind my shark knowledge.
Hey, what country is it that has that shark that's like 400 years old and you can't eat it because it's poisonous unless you let it ferment and then it becomes a goo that apparently is one of the most wretched smelling things of all time?
It's like Iceland and Greenland and those areas.
Yeah, I think it's Iceland. It's like...
Fermented shark.
Yeah, it's like kugelfish or some shit like that. Hey,
Apparently
Earthbound.
it's quite awful.
Earthbound, have you ever been inside a Icelander? Why, yes, I fucked Bjork way back when. It was...
Sorry.
The year was 1995. She was visiting Holland.
Let me take you back into my time machine.
Come with me. Me. I used to call Earthbound, I used to call him Dan. He didn't like that, though. Because that's not
Because
nice.
his name isn't Dan, it's Don.
Yeah. It's Don, like Donald Trump.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You're going from one to another. Shit. Fucking out of the frying pan into the fire.
No, I just want to see if he's in the chat.
Our names are bigly coincidental.
A tweet has been sent. Hey, thank you, Strike Boy. I'll make sure to like that tweet. Hey, did anybody watch the Dexter reboot? Or, not reboot,
I did.
sequel? Is it any good compared to the first, is it... I stopped watching after the third or fourth, we talked about this, after the John Lithgow season. What the fuck,
That
the
is
Triangle
like the
Killer?
last great season.
What was that guy's name?
It's good, but it's a one-off. Just like a one-season thing they did. I don't think they're bringing it back.
Did you know that he was banging his sister? Not the actress.
They were married.
Yeah. And they apparently it was a horrible divorce. it was like they wouldn't even look at each other when they weren't on screen in front of the camera together. Is it Jennifer
He
Carpenter?
is strangely attractive. Yeah, Jennifer Carpenter. She's strangely attractive.
She's strangely attractive. He's strangely attractive. He kind of looks like
He
Neanderthal
was
man.
in great shape. Like, he was always a little ripped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he kept himself going.
Yeah, he wasn't shredded. He wasn't that MCU shredded.
No, but you would,
but he-
you would
but
see
he
him,
was-
you're like, wow, he's more muscular than I thought he would be.
Yeah, but he was a muscular dude. Which is actually, honestly, when you see that, way more believable. Right? To see a guy who's like,
I mean, there's dudes out there that are like, there's school teachers that were in his kind of shape that just like to go to the gym every day.
right. Yeah, he's keeping it fit, he's keeping it toned, but he's not weighing his food to get,
I mean, one could argue though that if Dexter, like Morgan, the character, was like completely shredded, it would make sense because he would want to be in the best shape possible.
Right.
But that's, I think, the whole point of Dexter, the guy he was like, he was in good shape, but he was in good shape to service the skills he needed.
Yeah. And I think he's kind of like a day walker, right? He's a serial killer, but not, he doesn't get lost in it. A really cool premise, still to this day. Very cool.
The first season was the best because it had the ice truck killer and it had
Yeah.
a new killer each episode as well. Like, that was the problem with that show, is directly after season 1 they got off of that one major storyline and then several killers each season. But yeah, no, I think it's season 3 or 4 with John Lithgow. Then it kind of takes a dip, and then the revival was good. I liked it. It's just, it's more Dexter, really.
Nikki, did you watch it?
No, I did not. I gotta go though.
You leaving?
Yeah, buddy, my friend's here. We're gonna catch up, and she brought food.
Your friend Shantae is there?
Mm,
What?
Your friend Shantae? She's there?
Shantae, Chanel. Close enough, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty close, I'd say.
Yeah. Are you doing how long are you streaming tonight? Then?
Probably a few hours, my usual 3 hours, about 3 hours, maybe
Oh,
4. I might push it to 4. So yeah, if you and Shantae want to come hang out, you're more than welcome.
Chanel. Yeah, I'll talk to her.
What's rhymes with Chanel? Does she have a good nickname?
No,
Chanel.
I call her Potato.
Call her Potato because she's a little overweight?
No, because she's a legitimate potato on my stream. I'm done with you.
Uh-huh.
Goodbye, Michael. Bye, Maddie.
Later, buddy.
bye.
Bye.
Oh man, I can't believe Nikki rips on heavy people now.
Well, she does anymore.
Talk about pulling the ladder up after you got up there.
Every time I jump into the Discord, she's like, "What's up, you piece of shit, fat body?"
What's up, pig? This is what she says. She says it to me now
Yeah.
too. I'm about 25, 30 pounds overweight. That's all it takes.
And she looked at me one day in the Discord chat. She goes, "You fat piece of shit. You're just sweating thinking about food, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa."
I put my camera up on once in the last month, and Nikki said, "Geez, I didn't know you had that many chins." So what do you collect them all like Pokemon, you fat fuck?
Gotta
and then
catch them all.
Then I immediately shut the camera off and I started crying.
That's why you no longer use it after her outburst.
Mhm.
Well, I think you look lovely, Mike.
Thanks, baby. Likewise, hot stuff.
Oh my.
Oh my. Wait, have you ever hooked up with an Icelander?
It's very specific. No, I don't. No. I can say with confidence I haven't.
Is it because of the fish thing?
Cold inside.
Is it because of the what?
The fish thing, the shark fish thing.
I'm unfamiliar with the sharkfish thing.
What? We were just talking about it. That 400-year-old shark that they could eat. That's disgusting.
Oh, no, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. hang
Anybody
on.
ever watch Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations?
No, I've heard about it. I heard it's an amazing show.
Amazing show. One of the episodes, one of the first times I ever had seen that fermented shark was he goes to one of those areas and eats it.
Oh, the balls on that guy.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, up until, his entire life died because of Asia Argenta. But
How dare she?
have you been keeping up with the G4 shit going on?
I heard that the hell's that broad that looks like Napoleon Dynamite?
Frost.
Frost. Frost urine.
Damn, I've been let go.
uh, yeah, I bet she has tater tots in her jeans. 100%.
Dude, so like the fucked up thing was G4 was like firing a bunch of people, and then she tweets out like, "I survived," and then
Like
took
an
a
asshole.
shit ton of back. Yeah, like literally people are losing their jobs, and you're gonna tweet that out to your haters, like just tone deaf. And then G4 was like, "Yeah, no, you're not," and they fired her.
Yeah. She 1000%. Listen, I'm not the kind of guy who goes rip bozo when somebody loses their job. If they were, you know, not completely incompetent, not a complete asshole. She, however, is both of those things, so I don't have any remorse. I have this, you know what? I have the same amount of remorse for her losing her job as she did towards her coworkers who lost theirs. Cause she,
Or the fact that all of the whole network crumbling is due to statements she made.
She said some
Like,
very
this whole
asinine
thing-
things.
This whole thing was because she went on an on-screen rant, and then G4 backed her, and that was the beginning of this downfall. To the point of the new rebranded, reinvigorated G4 is now dead because of her.
Yeah, it's 100% true. I only found out about a friend of the stream started working for G4 as a writer.
I thought of them as I was reading about the layoffs.
Yeah, I wonder if she's still. It's Riri. It's Tanea. I wonder if she still has her job. I hope she still has her job, and I do think it's rather unfortunate that a single kind of ne'er-do-well in Indiana Black could kind of derail the whole thing, because it stopped being about, oh hey, this G4, remember G4 is back.
We're entertainment. That's
right.
our whole thing. We entertain you.
Yeah, we entertain. Well, not just entertain. We entertain specifically nerd / gamers. I mean, leaning into heavily, because of XPlay, primarily, leaning into the Attack of the Show, the video game / nerd culture. And then Frost turns around and then basically insinuates that the video game culture as a whole is toxic and full of misogynists. And although some of that's
true. One thing she said was a lie too, because she said Olivia Munn and Morgan Webb were not there for you to ogle at. And you're absolutely right about Morgan Webb. But Olivia Munn was not was not a gamer. She was brought in because she was attractive.
She was hot.
She was a fucking fraud. Morgan Webb, I always found more attractive because she was a legitimate nerd. Olivia Munn wasn't. So this idea of like Olivia Munn wasn't brought in, no, that's exactly why she was brought in.
And then
because Morgan Webb had standards about herself.
And then cue the old Olivia Munn clips of her basically being 100% the eye candy. Just kind
always in a bikini for no reason when you're talking a tech show.
Yeah. Come on. We all knew and she knew what she was there for too. And this is the era.
Yeah.
This is the era of the.
So I think she admitted it.
It's the era of the Maxim girl, the FHM girl. This is early aughts. That's when that shit was still around and prevalent. And it's always been. Listen, to this day, you can go to comic book conventions and there are still booth babes that are there. And there are still, you know what? When I went to TwitchCon a handful of years back, they still had the Bang Energy drink girls. You guys ever see the Bang Energy girls? Dude.
Yes.
They do dances, which is basically them bouncing and gyrating on stage while they're like... Here, let me show this.
Tried to outlaw marketing sexually to men. Like, you could market 50 Shades of Grey all you want.
Yeah, here's a band of...
If you market to men sexually, it's
Here's some of the band.
I mean, your average woman at the gym dresses that way.
Oh, they added a couple of dudes in there now, but mostly it's... Every time I've been to a stage, it's literally this. This is the Bang Energy people in a nutshell. Every convention, whether it was Twitch or Comic-Con or a manga thing, it's a babe. It's a modern day Baywatch babe dancing and gyrating and, hopping around.
I will say the yoga pants nowadays are pretty standard though. Like that's like if they were hot like short shorts or something. I mean, well, the one in the gray, that's a little different.
Yeah, they basically jiggle.
Honda Tech.
They basically jiggle on stage and ask you to buy their energy drinks.
Yeah, that money jiggles, it doesn't fall.
Yeah. So, but like, who gives a shit, right?
Well, why? Like, that's the thing, right? Is like, why is it wrong to advertise to men with sexually illicit thing? Like, if we can do it to women, you know, because we can sexualize a guy and market that, and that's acceptable still. But doing it for the opposite is no longer. Now it's you're exploiting.
Yeah, you are.
It's a weird dichotomy. Like, and here's the thing: is it exploitation? If that's exploitation, then so is porn. Like, if we're going to be on the same grounds, then it's either all or not, right? Like, if you're, it's all the same thing theoretically. So why is one accepted and not the other?
Don't look at me, man.
Like, nobody talks shit about the AVN. Like, everything you hear about the AVN is it being defended from quote unquote conservative assholes. So if that's 100% accepted, why are booth girls not? If it makes more money, if it's clearly consent, they're getting paid for their job,
right?
Like, being employed, you're not being forced to do anything. You don't have to do that job. You could always leave if it's not something you want to do.
I mean, well, also it depends on how much of a lunatic you're talking to on Twitter.
Also, how fat they are. Not to be a dick, but like, the less and less in shape people are, the more and more they hate people flaunting and making money off of their bodies.
Dude, I've seen there was a Twitch gal who, I forget her name. She was part of that group. Do you remember that group of girls that were like, there was a video of them being like anti-bullies? They were like the video game bully patrol or some shit like that.
No, I don't, thankfully.
Let me see if I could find that damn video. Hang on. I think it was hang on. Dude, it was the streamer Zombie Unicorn, and she was on Bully Hunters. Here, I'll show you this. Here's a Polygon article from a few years back. Pre-Pandy. Bully Hunters organization shuts down campaign after disastrous first stream. So what they would do is they would get on, these quote-unquote gamer girls would get on and they would bully the bullies, is what they would do. And Zombie Unicorn is now a they-them. Zombie Unicorn is now a they-them. And let's see. Zombie Unicorn. Let's see if I could find the...
Well, there's also this idea that, like, they're totally justified in acting like a piece of shit because somebody else is a piece of shit. Like, no, you're both pieces of shit. Like, I don't draw that line because you don't just do this to assholes. I guarantee you do this to everybody. I want somebody to bully the bully of the bully of the bully.
Yeah, lowering yourself to one's other standards doesn't mean that you're a good person.
It's also like, we've taken online gaming way too fucking seriously, dude. Like, these people clearly weren't alive when Modern Warfare still came out, or they weren't playing games. They, like, and I'm not saying like the old school Modern Warfare, as rough as it was proper, but like, fucking, I don't know. I am one of those people where it's just like, for me, it's just words. Like, get over it, fucking ignore it. I don't know. Well,
it depends. Like, so I sometimes can like really get angry if people use cancer in a denigrating way.
Yeah, but you probably don't stay silent about it either, though. Like, you stick up for yourself.
Well, yeah, I will fucking tell them that. Like,
well, that's the difference between you and people who are continuously bullied, is they don't stick up for themselves.
Yeah.
And I've always been a loudmouth, so it's like, just, if you got a problem, say it. Like, go at people. Fuck, what are they gonna do? They get mad at you? What do you do?
You're on the internet. They're not gonna come out of your screen and punch you.
Yeah, they're not real people. They're just, realistically speaking, it's just a voice on a screen.
I could be talking to an AI right now. I don't know. Like...
Oh, if there's an AI that's me, I feel bad for that AI. Man, there's a bunch of videos about this Bully Hunters, and there's a bunch of videos done about her. Actually, not very favorable to her.
No, I'm trying to find. I can't. I wish I would have. I almost wish I would have saved it.
When SJWs fight cyberbullies, no one wins. And that's coming out of H3H3 before they went full SJW.
Damn, I'm trying to find the zombie unicorn shitting on Bang energy drink girls. She basically was like, look at this, look at these women subjecting themselves to the male gaze.
That's because she couldn't get it. I mean, literally, she says it, but then at one point she was doing body paint on stream. So
Yeah, let me
Okay.
see.
That's also the main thing, right? That pisses people off. Fucking double standards and hypocrisy.
Here we go.
That-
yeah.
the main-
Wow, I actually I fucking found it. Didn't think I'd be able to, but here we are.
like, you would have think she would have had more confidence in herself. She had a nice front end.
Why the fuck companies still out here sexually objectifying women as booth babes in 2019?
I have seen this.
What do
that's right.
booty shorts and bra tops have to do with energy drinks, E3? Stop this cringy shit already, for fuck's sake. This is embarrassing.
Because when you're looking at the Bane girls, you need the energy drink to make sure the blood keeps going to the brain.
Zom, I hope you could take a bit of friendly criticism. And this tweet, immediately the first comment, ratioed the shit out of her. This was a bad take. Those girls are clearly dancers performing, not booth babes. If you have an issue with revealing shorts on dancers, that's fine, but it's hard to take serious when this is the next pick on your own Twitter feed. And it's literally her ass to the camera. God damn, she's a big woman.
She had a badunkadunk. I think it's a proper term for that. It looks like they wrapped a badunkadunk in a carpet.
And then somebody is using her body painting, which is basically...
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a little hard to argue
ironic
against that when you body paint your boobs, you know? Your bobs and vagina.
Funny what she doesn't realize accepting money from minors for soliciting. I agree with you.
That's
Unemploy
true.
these women at once. Hypocrisy. All right,
Run them out of town. Burn them at the stake.
Yeah. How dare these women get paid to dance on stage for an energy drink?
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like,
Yeah.
if you're okay with porn being legal, you gotta be okay with all of this.
Is it because
Strippers,
do you think
dancers,
is
everything.
it because she's insecure in her own appearance?
Yes.
Because I'll be honest,
It's
I don't
always
find
that.
this I don't find
I mean,
this
there's got to be
woman
some
particularly
kind of
attractive.
insecurity
Dude,
at least.
you're
Right.
all right. I'm gonna say 9 times out of 10, if a fit person is getting attacked about using their body for money, it is a slob. If they get attacked by a person who is pretty as or prettier than them, if they don't like them, they're just going to be catty and point out flaws. But the rest of them are going to talk shit about what they've chosen to do with their life and their body, and it's because they can't do it. That's all. It's just jealousy that people don't respect them simply because they have nice jugs. You know, they have to actually earn people's respect. Like, it is what it is. Like, like, don't get me wrong. The only thing I would be good for is maybe a calendar about bears. Other than that, I'm not saying I'm pretty. But if I see somebody who's attractive making money with their, like, I'm not fucking jealous of them. Good on
Right.
you.
Yeah.
But that's the difference.
Yeah, I'll check him out.
Yeah.
The body painting thing for me is a little weird, but then, like, you do see some of these people that do exceptional fucking
They're
work
really
on
good at
body
it.
painting.
Same thing with the makeup, right? Like people are able to literally morph their face with makeup.
Yeah,
it's-
the facial shit where it's like zombie and all sorts of shit.
Right. So listen, I don't mind it as an art form. However, I 1000% believe that Zombie Unicorn wasn't doing it just for the sheer artisanry of it. That's just my take. Perhaps I'm mistaken, but based on what I've seen of her quote unquote body art, I would say she's definitely playing up the provocative nature of it for views and clicks and all that.
I mean, can we all be honest with you? Makeup is a form of fraud.
Yeah, Earthbound. I saw him putting on his eyeliner and mascara earlier.
I have warned him about that. He's a
I
natural
don't need
beauty.
them. I just have these luscious eyebrows are for my own. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need mascara or whatever.
Oh
That's how
shit!
cheap you are. You're using an app and you don't pay for it, so the watermark is not.
The watermark. Some being sued up to leave the app's watermark. God damn, that is a very specific type of stupid.
Excuse me, my dear. The app that is keeping your face from looking like it's melting and needs to be paid for again. The watermark has appeared.
There was a Japanese like former Yakuza motorcycle guy. I don't know if he was. I don't know if he was formerly, because he had tattoos on him and he was a biker type. And he was using one of those face tuning kind of apps, one of those, you know, filters to pretend that he was a woman, a Japanese woman. And then he was caught because one day he accidentally in like the background there was a reflection of him on a reflection of a thing, and people realized that it's a dude. And then he was called out, and then he had to fess up to it that he's just a long-haired Japanese biker dude. And he thought, and he came clean. He's like, I basically did this because I wanted the engagement, but being a dude, nobody really wants to see a kind of a headed towards middle-aged biker guy on social media just enjoying himself. So I switched my gender. And you know what? Apparently, once he came clean, people were like, "Nah, it's cool. We'll keep following you, buddy."
Anyway, we like the content. Just can you keep wearing the makeup, please?
Put the filter back on.
Please use the filter. I mean, you've already got the. Presumably, you bought the lifetime license. So.
It's a weird fap now, but I can manage it.
It's bad enough when they use Soften app to wipe the wrinkles and you can't see their noses. Yeah, I've seen a few older.
I just naturally don't have a nose. What are you talking about?
I've seen some older, you know, kind of headed towards middle-aged ladies who definitely remove the wrinkles. And you're like, oh wow, you're really digging into this. But I understand it in regards to posting on social media. In order to stay competitive with the younger crowd, you kind of gotta, if that's what you're going for, you kind of gotta.
You know what, Michael? I completely disagree with you, and I think the only way we can smash the patriarchy is if we purposefully post raw, natural photos of our beautiful women's faces.
You know what, dude?
And the they thems, and that's the only way we can truly bring down the men as the top sow. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, listen. Honestly, I know it's a joke, but I think society would benefit if people were more open and honest with how they actually look. Because I think right now,
hell yeah, man.
It's
Well,
really.
Dude, look at Tinder. Like the photos, like it's catfishing on the micro level because of all the like. Have you ever seen those videos of the women on YouTube that wake up and it's like, yeah, you've had a rough night, didn't you? And then they make themselves up into something pretty. Like,
Yeah,
whoa,
no, I've definitely
shit.
seen that. And you're like, wow, this is it's crazy what you've just done. It's it's impressive. It's like special effects makeup, man. It's like, wow, they should hire you for the Lord of the Rings show. You got such great SFX makeup.
Yeah, well, I mean, on those apps too, there's things like, you know, it's cool to put the requirements for a men's height, but not cool for a guy to put the requirements for a female's weight. I
I think that's fair play. I think if you're,
I do too.
Yeah, if you're demanding height, I think it's only fair that someone demand you to get on the fucking scale. Then, if
Well,
that's how we're doing it.
Here's the thing: only like 15% of people men in America are above 6 feet. So
Oh,
if
wow.
you're above 6 feet, you're above average, bro. Like, by a
Hey,
lot.
look at us, baby. We're out here. You, me,
But
and
like, if you're a woman who's like, I think for one thing, if you're a woman who puts requirements like that, or a guy that puts requirements like that, then you're both should be susceptible to whatever criticisms the other. Like,
yes,
if you're a dude who goes, well, I want, you know, a woman you know, this at this weight, because I mean, why do we even hide it anymore? Remember, it used to be like athletic.
right.
Like, I know, I like, no, you want somebody thin, in good shape. Like, just say it. And I don't think any of it's faux pas. Like, if you're a chick that's in great shape and you want to put no under 6 foot fat slugs, I'm sorry, that's way better in my opinion, because at least you're fucking honest.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, have them both do it.
Yeah, like be honest, like if you're a dude who's in great shape, no slobs. Boom. If you're a slob, you know you're a slob. Don't apply. Just like you don't apply to jobs you know you're underqualified for.
Fatties need not apply.
Exactly. Hang a sign on your fucking Tinder.
Well, I mean,
I don't care. I think it should be all fair.
Well, let's be honest, right? I mean, if you're a dude who's going to the gym multiple times a week, if not daily, and you're focused on, keeping your body and your physique very, yeah, why would
If
you
you're
want?
Patrick fucking Bateman.
Right? Why would you want to date a person who has zero interest in that? If it's something that you hold in such high regard, even if it like, or sure, it is a little shallow, but also it's got, I think, a fair amount to do with a person's mindset and person's wants and likes and dislikes.
I was about to say, like, is it shallow, or is it just like, hey, that like they can commit
No,
to
it's a
something and they can keep like,
Right.
they can keep themselves in good shape. All right, that is a value in my opinion.
No, it is.
Yogi goes into a little bit of a different realm because he talks about good credit, steady job, home. I don't want an old fat busted woman. That's not really physical. You're talking about a lifestyle, which I think both kind of have to align, right? Because let's be real. If you're a personality can do a lot, and you don't have to be beautiful, but if you're charming, you could still wiggle in these people's lives as long as your other kind of parts of your life add up to where you want to go as that person. You know what I mean? Like you can date above your scale if everything else lines up with that person and they overlook their normal natural attraction because they like the person that much more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a thing. It's just not the. That's not the. I don't know. Is that you think that's more common than just hot people finding other hot people and they agree? Because there's a lot of really attractive chicks that like fat dudes, and vice versa.
I mean, listen, I had a friend who was in great shape, man. I mean, this guy, he did Muay Thai. He was constantly at the gym, sometimes doing 2-a-days. He'd kept his body fat hovering around 10% at all times. He also did a little Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This guy was a specimen. He had a fat fetish. He was a chubby chaser. The girl he was dating was legit a porker, a land whale, as the kids say.
And that means like he already probably had an above average pick of women that normal dudes won't get.
Yeah.
But then he went lower in scale and could literally have any single woman he want. Like, if you know what I mean? Like, if he saw a woman who he found attractive, he could say, "Hey, you're single? Yeah, well, you're mine." And no problem. That's an incredible power, though. Like, maybe that's what it was. He just loved the power.
He wanted the chub, baby. He wanted the chub. I remember
chub for the rub.
And they say that fat people try harder too, right? I mean,
I heard fat girls give the best head. That's what I never actually hooked up with a girl who was more than 20% body fat, but I don't know.
It is the Ripley's Believe It or Not statistic.
I've also heard the same thing about crazy girls, and I think, you know what? I was once inside of a crazy woman, and it's true. I think crazy pussy is better.
Well, that's because.
Oh yeah, no,
100%. Like it's their last one.
100% on the crazy pussy.
I wonder if it's because they've got like no limits. You know, like retard strength, right? It's not quite a real thing. It's because they don't hold back. It's because, you know, mentally for us, our brains will literally hold us back from, you know, from inflicting the 100% of our muscle capabilities, because like we'll hurt ourselves if we do. But
so they're more animalistic,
right? But people with you know, mental deficiencies, they don't have that stopgap. You know, they don't have that thing holding them back, so they just go 100%. You know, they're lifting up fridges and stuff. Maybe it's like that with crazy girls.
During sex to lift up fridges?
No, I'm saying, but like that, a crazy girl has got like, she's got her pussy as retard strength. She's crazy girl strength.
Like I legit heard stories of people who were like practitioners of like what's in the BDSM scene known as primal sex, right?
Oh my
god! And they've
God.
like they actually like went above what like you could expect from a human as far as like strength goes and stuff. It's insane.
Dude, I understand, like, I guess what you would call just common kink, but like you guys are talking about a kink of like caged, where you're literally in a cage.
Caged. Earthbound has got multiple women in cages right now.
No, that's an actual. I've seen that happen.
Actual thing,
IRL.
right?
Yeah, no, I've seen that happen.
You saw it at one of these festivals you go to?
Well, no, not festivals. I also go to other parties, but but it was a wild time in Amsterdam. Let me put it that way. But it was like I've seen like weird shit like that. Like this, the entire kink scene is very varied.
When does it turn into Saw, dude? Like,
Circa, tell us more about this kink scene.
What do you want to know?
No, I was just goofing.
I know about like a fair amount about it, not because I'm in the community, but I have a lot of friends. So,
how do you find kink
I am
friends?
in the community, yeah. There's a website called FetLife.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, Rum was in FetLife. Rum posted, I think.
Like,
I am on FetLife.
Yeah, there is like FetLife. There's definitely like a side of like TikTok.
Could have sworn that Rum said she posted a butt plug photo in the FetLife thing. I couldn't tell if she was joking or not, as is always with Rum. I can never tell if she's just being silly or if she actually did it. But I'm not on FetLife, so I don't know.
For me, it's I met one person who was in that community and we became friends, and then through them I met some of their friends. So now I now have other friends that are in that community, but it's all through like one person. Yeah, not my personal bag. Well, at least not the extreme parts of it, like, you know, prime hunter predator and
Or caged.
yeah, so master pet or
Is that what that's called?
Pikachu, Ash Ketchum.
no, but like there are specific
Oil and double.
in BDSM. So like if you're into being tied up, right? You're a rope bunny. If you're into tying people up, you're a rigger. Right?
Rigger, please, is what Cage says.
So yeah, the whole like caging people or having them get out of bowls, or like pony play would fall under this. Would be owner.
Earthbound, you ever have a woman ride you like a pony?
That's not what that means.
No. But like I have like in the group I'm in, there's a smaller group of people that like every once in a while, like every once a year or so, I think they rent a mansion, and then it's just like they go there with like 15 people or so, and 10 of them are like slaves, and 5 of them are masters.
Called the Eyes Wide Shut experience.
Yeah, it's, and I'm talking like full on slave, like just like
I mean, there are people
like they're on the plantation.
Yeah,
there are
like,
people.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like yeah, they do anything that is asked of them.
They pick cotton.
Hey, am I a bad person if I go to one of those and just like, yeah, can you make me some food?
Yeah, make me some food.
Can you do my laundry? Like we never do anything sexual.
Make me some food.
Errands.
Hang on, let me dress like Colonel Sanders. I'll be right back.
Yeah, right.
I
have some strawberries I need picked for me.
You never make it through the screening process. Like all those things have like pretty intense screening.
Yeah, I'm a different.
Oh, it's like a psych eval.
You're looking for reenactments,
no,
sir.
but most dom sub dynamics, a lot of people who engage in those, like they meet them through, you know, a community, a meetup, a group or whatever, and there's almost a contractual. You meet the person, you sit down, you have a conversation about what like the parameters are, what your safe words are, like whether you're going to use a color system, like all of those things, and then like you agree to a certain dynamic, and through that screening process, they take people out who are doing it for the memes and want to dress up as Colonel Sanders and say, make me a sandwich. I mean, like that doesn't, you wouldn't make it past.
Well,
that's a very big basis of trust.
Wait a second. You mean to tell me that my character, my body, my choice, Mindy, would get revoked?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe she'll flip through, but no, it's interesting because it's very much a trust dynamic, like EB said. Like you have to trust your partner implicitly, not only in a scene, but you also have to trust them to uphold their end of the agreement,
right? And
to make sure that you guys are in alignment. Like a lot of people think dom sub, the dom holds the power. Actually, the sub holds the power.
Power bottom, right, EB?
Sub is the one that gives consent. So sub has the power to take that away and therefore end the scene completely, right?
And so as a dom, it's really demanding.
Yeah.
Because like a sub can like I've had experiences where the sub was like completely out of it, and if you you could definitely go too far as a dom very easily if the sub is like completely submissive.
You have to be like in tune with your partner.
Yeah, you have to be very careful.
This sounds like way too much fucking work to get your nut.
It's also hard because like a lot of times you don't have a personal relationship with the person when you're starting out, so you don't know them as well as you would know, say, a romantic partner, and so it's learning their triggers and how they work, but also not venturing into that romantic side of things. I mean, being a dom is a huge amount of responsibility because subs drop into subspace, and it can be really difficult to come out of subspace and not have it be damaging. It's almost
out of subspace. What is it, Star Trek?
No, but subspace is like you were talking about how crazy girls, like, you know, they just don't have any mental limits. Subspace, you almost, a lot of people describe it as like floating. You sort of drop out of this plane of reality and you don't feel pain and you don't feel your limits being pushed.
Yeah, I would say that's crazy. That's how I.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say that's much less
Remember
kink
that-
and much
oh.
more mental.
Yeah, that sounds
something or
nuts.
other.
That person
So
sounds
as
a
a
little.
dom, you
You'd
have
be
to
surprised.
be able to
Surprised
recognize.
what kind of people like can get
Yes.
into that mind space. Like completely
Absolutely.
normal people. Like
Well, the
that
thing
you
is, I
wouldn't.
think most people can, given the right
Yeah.
circumstances.
Yeah.
I never have, because again, I don't indulge in that particular community. But I understand why people get so into it. I mean, I would imagine it's quite euphoric, you know. So, but it's almost like when you scuba dive and you have to go like slowly up to the surface because otherwise you'll get the bends, right? You have to come
Yeah.
slowly out of subspace because it can.
Aftercare
shock.
is huge.
Yeah, but
Paramount.
one of them is
Yeah.
because of oxygen in the blood. The other is because of a like trance you're in. Essentially.
Yeah, no, but like you need like the like sub drop can be like very could lead to suicide. Like it wouldn't be the first time.
So that does beg the initial question of like you're essentially putting yourself into a dangerous situation if that is your situation for personal
For the
pleasure.
experience.
Yeah.
My question is, at what point does that becoming self-harm?
I mean, think about all the dangerous situations you put yourself in every single day because you want to live your life a certain way. I mean, like, the reality is you do things to mitigate the danger.
but I-
right?
Yeah, no,
That's
I mean,
fine.
it sounds like.
But I wouldn't
I
argue
mean,
that driving is
yeah, no, yeah, the
self-harm.
driving is about as rough as it gets.
You can die
Yeah.
a lot statistically, sadly.
Right. So
But
you
like,
take
but
precautions, right? You take precautions with this kind of stuff. You work it out with your partner, and you have systems in place, and you don't jump into a really intense scene. You build up to those kind of things because they need to know your signals and your signs and how you prefer your aftercare. And if it's done correctly and the communication is good and the trust is there, like it very much minimizes those.
This
dangers, but they do
100% sounds like mental illness to me. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I'm not even like, this sounds like,
Yeah,
it
but
sounds to
what
me
is,
like you're
like-
describing mental illness.
I mean, there's dangers with, overdosing on shrooms. Do people still take shrooms? Yes, they do. There's
Yeah, but that would be self-harm
Yeah.
if you overdosed on shrooms, though.
Yeah, but that's like, so that's the thing. Like, if it's not dangerous if it's done right with so many other things. Like,
Right.
if you're a good dom and you know how to actually give the experience, then and you've set your boundaries and you know which lines not to cross, and then it's all within boundaries. It's all safe. It's like a speed limit on a highway, right? You don't cross that speed limit.
Right, just because overdosing on shrooms can be dangerous doesn't mean doing shrooms is necessarily inherently dangerous, right? It's a matter of degree, right, and preparation, and sort of being on the same page and checking all the boxes, whatever. But I
Right.
mean,
But
it's
most
a lot of
people,
work.
all right, but most people, when they're indulging in psychedelics, there are some people who do it habitually, but by far and wide, the most people who I've interacted with, shrooms is a once in a while thing. Is
For a
this
lot
the
of
same
these
way?
people,
Yeah, same
Yeah,
with submissive
it
people.
depends.
Yeah, because
There-
well,
there are
yeah.
Well, yeah, there are people who live their life like that. There are people, for example, who want to be a slave 24/7, and they live their life like that. There are
Yeah,
people,
that's mental
That's
illness, dude.
definitely-
There's
But
no way.
in my personal experience, like a sub usually is absolutely fucking knackered. They are exhausted. Like some of them couldn't even stand on their own legs anymore once they came by. During aftercare, they just kind of like almost
full-body
collapse.
cardio workout.
It's like they're completely exhausted.
it's
physically
almost
and
like
mentally.
their dom has taken all of their energy.
Yeah.
Like it's a sucker.
And
like-
none of this sounds weird to you
Yeah.
guys? Like this
Yeah,
is...
none of this sounds
I'm
fucking.
not saying it doesn't sound weird. I mean, there's a reason I'm not in the community, but it's not as. I mean, I don't know. I've spent a lot of time studying human psychology and human sexuality because I think it's really fascinating, and so, I think it's just a matter of the issue comes in when you have things like 50 Shades of Grey, right? That's what people think of when they think of BDSM, and that is just a toxic ass dude. Like that's not healthy. He's broken, and she did. I mean, there's so many issues with that, but like
It takes
she was
advantage
able
of
to
it.
save him in the end.
the thing is, like, you can't be lazy if you want to do this kind of stuff. Like you have to do all the preparation. You have to constantly. It's a lot of work. It is. It's hard. It's difficult, and it's like, and that's why for a lot of people, it's not something they do all the time. They indulge in it a couple times a year, right, or whatever. It's not their normal everyday sex life because, frankly, who has the time, like, for that? So yeah, no, I don't think it's weird. I just think it's unusual. It's
I
not.
think it's weird.
I think on
Well,
I think it's-
average
a lot-
for the people.
I think it's
I
abnormal.
I think for the people that don't have to be very cautiously brought out of this situation, that's just a kink for them. That's one thing. But I think if you are one of those people that's your situation where it's dangerous to pull you, it's like you can't just come back to real world. I think that's self-harm in the same aspect of like autoerotic asphyxiation. Like it is a weird thing where I get it's your thing, but like if you're knowingly, like if you're cool with it and that shit just doesn't happen and you like go to work tomorrow and it's a-okay, but if it legitimately kind of fucks with your mental state, I think that's like, I understand that's what you get off to, but isn't that a little dangerous?
I mean, here's the thing: is like and EB, because it sounds like you've actually participated in this stuff, like you have more probably experience. Because I'm going.
Him and I have done the cage thing.
Well, you know, he has a little.
But yes, no,
bowl.
I have actual experience in that.
Yeah. I've dabbled, but I've never really fully gotten into it. So, you know, I don't think for most people that they're like they can't go to work the next day. Like it's a matter of like, okay, I'm in a vulnerable position right after, you know, we cuddle, we talk, I drink some Gatorade, like there's aftercare, and they're fine within like an hour. It's not. This isn't. It's like coming off a high, right? It's not.
Yeah, I do find the Gatorade thing funny though.
Oh, no,
It's a little
absolutely, no.
dehydrated.
Give
No,
me
but
the
that's the
le-
thing. You
give me the
you need
electrolytes.
Yeah.
You need
yeah,
electrolytes and you need hydration afterwards.
Yeah.
So like Doms will figure out their subs' favorite snacks.
Oh.
They will figure out their favorite.
Can I ask a question?
Mhm.
It sounds like Earthbound has more. Earthbound, traditionally in this situation, are you sober or does this go along with?
Oh no, I'm
psychedelics?
100% sober.
Oh, you
No,
have to be
Okay.
sober.
100% sober.
Ooh.
Are they
like,
sober?
You need to like
Yes.
as
Everybody's
Every
sober.
participating.
yeah,
Party,
they are
like,
sober
getting
too.
a tattoo?
At least
Well,
like it as a dom, you need to like all your focus constantly is on your sub. Like you need to look for body clues, for like even breathing is important. Like it's what all your focus to not get too personal, but all your focus is on your partner.
Fine, you
100%.
Yeah, no, you can't be compromised. In fact, for a lot of these relationships, if you show up compromised in any way, not only will you not have the scene, but it very well can end the dynamic. Like I have friends who are doms who have stopped, who have terminated like their contractual whatever with a play partner because they're like, that was our rule. Because you're taking on responsibility for another person's well-being to some degree, right? And that's true anytime you have sex with anybody, even if it's just vanilla. But like, you're not gonna do that. It's a consent thing, because this is based purely on trust, agreement, and consent, right? This is not based on romantic feelings or attachments, generally speaking. Sometimes it evolves into that, but and so they have to play by the rules, and that's a pretty universal rule. Nobody is on anything. Nobody's drunk. Nobody's high. Frankly, even if you just had a really shitty day and you're emotionally not in a great place, a lot of times it won't happen, because they want to make sure you're fully present, you're fully aware, you're ready, you're good.
this sounds like ass to me. Like this, everything about this sounds lame.
But
There's
the
also
reason I really like it is because I can give an experience to someone that is hard to experience otherwise.
Ooh, EB's
That's
a
why I like it.
Nice. But no, I mean, I think there's also a reason why certain, and correct me if I'm wrong here, EB, but my sort of general sense that I get is that certain BDSM pairings are more common, or sort of like more starter friendly, right? You don't jump right into predator prey. Like that's not, you don't jump into master slave. You know, like most people start with like daddy little girl, right? That's a really
Fuck
common,
me, dude.
or like
Mhm.
rope bunny rigger, like, because those are a little more, they're a little more mainstream, frankly, and they're less likely to involve subspace. So yeah,
and rope bunny rigger could also like it's for a lot of people it's also an artistic thing, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Like
What?
like
Autism?
No, 100%. Like if you
Artistic.
artistic as in
No.
as an art.
I mean, listen, if you
It's
told me that
used-
the BDSM people were on the autism spectrum, I'd believe you.
well, I'm autistic. And I don't know if that counts.
Well, there it goes.
Well, and keep in mind too that like rigor and rope bunny, that encompasses everything from I'm gonna tie your wrists with a necktie to I'm gonna full on hog tie you. Like there's a continuum for all of these things. So like technically, if you've ever like played with handcuffs, guess what? You've dabbled. Like it's you know, like technically.
Yes, but there is a little bit of a journey, I think, from handcuffs to deliverance.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But you know, to me, it's fascinating, like to observe. I'm not. Oh my god! Of course.
My ears fucking.
That was taken from one of Earthbound's. What do you call them? Sessions?
Scenes.
Scenes.
No, you don't.
Like a fucking acting. Get the fuck out of here. Everything about this sounds stupid and too much work. Obviously, it's clearly not for me.
No, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, something tells me that you wouldn't enjoy that particular.
No, I don't. I don't want to. I don't mind being somewhat domineering in bed, but it's so much. Like, yeah, I'll choke you and pull your hair and maybe a little bit of being bound up, but that's it, man. That's all I'm game for.
And that's fine.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like that's perfectly valid. Like, you know, I mean, that's the thing is I don't ever, in fact, I don't think I've ever had any friends who are into this who go, oh my god, how could you just like vanilla sex? Like they don't judge people for not being into it.
Well, as they shouldn't, because they're the fucking weirdos in the fucking
Like,
discussion.
Like, all be the...
Right? Because like you're like, oh, fucking weirdos. They don't judge you for their like.
No,
they
nor
would
should
see
they,
you as
because
very
we're
boring.
the normal people, and they're the fucking abnormal people.
I think you're more of these socially acceptable people. I think that you would be shocked at how common it is for people to indulge in this particular lifestyle. Like it's a lot more common than you would think. And there's a lot of people that you see walking around that you would think are perfectly normal. Frankly, a lot of people you think are probably having super vanilla sex. It's always the quiet ones.
Yeah, dude, Jen, she's got a kink. She likes me to throw her down the stairs before.
Wasn't
Yeah,
that
there it
cagey?
is. That's
KG slipped, buddy.
yeah.
Okay.
She didn't. I can't say I did the sex throw down the stairs to her. That would be weird.
Hey, hello, Elfin.
Selection bias, though. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what do you mean. What are you talking about, Tuvok?
I mean, I know that like isn't the whole thing is like everybody is on the spectrum kink. It's just where or how far.
I
Yeah,
mean,
like-
it's rare to find someone who's truly vanilla and has
Which
absolutely
Mormons maybe, but that would mean multiple partners is a kink. So.
Yeah.
He did the missionary throw. Oh, the misery throw.
Misery.
Misery.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was a Freudian slip.
Missionary throw, that would be interesting.
It would be funny. Do you think people that are just 100% vanilla know a lot of 100%
People
vanilla people? Oh, wait,
into
they
something.
don't talk about
yeah.
it actually.
People into something know lots of people into the same thing, so they assume everyone is into that.
I like vanilla ice cream only. No hot fudge, please.
I would
Well,
argue that the
conversely,
vast amount of people are having probably normal sex.
Yeah, but the question is like what you consider normal. Like if you were to poll 100
Upside
people
down.
and you think your sex life is normal, like you'd probably get a majority that say yes. But normal is relative, right? So like if you're someone who indulges in kink regularly, that is your normal.
No.
Right?
That's your normal because you're a fucking freak weirdo. I'm talking about the average human, American, North American, what they're up to.
Mike's a missionary guy. Maybe
I-
some
Yeah,
dog.
Mr. Missionary,
Okay.
baby.
Well,
Yeah.
I know
Mr.
you're
Rand.
vanilla, Michael, but like I think you would be surprised at how many people. I mean, and
I
again,
was.
Yeah.
I got into it. I
You-
was. Like,
Yeah, it's shocking.
You were surprised that you went to a freak party and found a bunch of freaks there?
No, I was surprised. I wasn't surprised about the freaks. I was surprised who the freaks were in some
Oh,
cases.
I mean, I'm sure it's fucking filled with everybody from fucking Mr. Rogers types to business people. I don't think yoga people. I think anybody. It's like,
People?
I think anybody could be a freako. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, oh my god, the school teacher? No way. None of it would fucking surprise me. If you told me that, you saw a priest there and a fucking governor and whoever the fuck else and yeah, some school marm, I don't give a shit. Like, that doesn't faze me that, oh yeah, they're a sex freak. That part doesn't faze me. Or surprise me. Because again, people are weirdos. I would argue, man, as a matter of fact, I would love to know the statistics of this. I would love to know how many people would consider themselves in the lifestyle.
Okay, so here's my question for you is like, okay, you've said like you'll be a little domineering in bed, you'll like, you know, handcuffs or like light bondage, you'll choke somebody, whatever. Obviously, you know, locking someone in a cage, having them drink out of a dog bowl is freaky to you, but like where's
normal.
that tipping point for you? Because you've said that you consider your sex life like normal. There are people out there, Michael, who would say that tying somebody up or pulling hair or choking would be freaky. Like you'd be a freak to them. So where's
Lousy Christians.
where's your definition of like normal? Do you
Where's
know
your
what I mean?
boundary?
My
Yeah.
boundary.
Like at what point are you like,
Mhm.
oh no, that's freaky. I wouldn't do that.
I
Because
suppose
Fingers inside
there's
of
a
you.
lot between pulling someone's hair and locking someone in a cage. Like you're skipping like a huge section of the spectrum. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
for me,
Like
That is
for
my
me,
fucking
for
up?
me,
Oh,
the
no.
line is no. So I was giving it some thought. The line involves how much pain is requested or inflicted, and or how much excess you would need in regards to toys or other accessories, paraphernalia, costumes, in regards to just meeting a person and having intercourse with them
But
impromptu.
what if someone has like a freakishly high pain tolerance? Like they're just born that way. They just so for them
Again, you've already
normal.
diverted from a normal
Okay, okay.
circumstance.
In that case, so what if a sub is just like there's no tying involved. There's no maybe only like a dildo or vibrator, but that you can still be very dominant. You can still be like a super dom and have a super submissive sub, even with the like without like inflicting pain or ropes
Right.
or extravagant tools, right?
Explain.
Like that is like yeah, like just vanilla play, but you can still like be like an actual dom and give someone the actual sub experience in that sub zone, and have to bring them out of it. It differs,
There are
but
people
like
there are people out there for whom if you pulled their hair and like, you know, slapped them on the ass a little bit, they would go into subspace. Like there are people that are just particularly sensitive to that, or just super subby. They're not even
Warp speed,
remotely
Mr.
willing to
Zulu.
switch, right? So I don't like. Again, there's a continuum, and so I think it's a hard question of like what is unusual or not normal behavior, what's aberrant behavior, versus what's normal, because it depends so much on the people involved, right?
I
feel bad
would
for
love
Rifa
to,
when he comes
because
to the States and he finds out that having someone put a gun to his head is a fetish of his.
listen, I would love to know the hard numbers of
Playing on hard copy.
of what people are up to behind closed doors versus what I'd imagine the vast amount of people are up to, generally speaking. Because you're right, anecdotally, I really only have my experiences and the experiences told to me by friends and associates and others to gauge anecdotally what I would perceive as abnormal, weird behavior versus normal behavior.
Well, and like outside of your own experience, you have no guarantee. Like you could have a friend who only tells you the vanilla experiences they have, and you assume that means they don't have any other experiences, but maybe they do, but they've listened to your stream and they know you would call them a freako, so they just don't tell you. I mean, like you could have people in your life who are into this and you just have no idea because they don't. The only person who you have full access to their sexual history and desires is yourself, right? I think you have a particularly open group of friends, but
Right.
who knows? So
Yeah, I mean, I would still wager that we're dealing with a minority, a vast minority of people. But that's just my guess.
well, you're also you're going to get underreporting too, because if you think about it, like I said, nobody hears, oh God, my favorite position is missionary, and I just love looking into my partner's eyes and telling them how much I love them. Nobody's gonna go, what a freaking freak, you know? Like, there's no judgment for that. They may go, oh, that sounds boring, but they're not gonna like look at you differently. There's no risk in telling somebody I like vanilla sex. There's definitely a risk in admitting that you like sort of kinkier stuff. And so there are people who do that, enjoy it, engage in it. They would lie. If you ask them, do you engage in this? They would say no, because they don't want to risk that sort of judgment. So you're not going, I don't know if you can ever even fully get an accurate, like hard number assessment, right? Because you're relying on self-reporting.
Plenty of perverts hiding behind the veil of religion, all religions. But the reason judgment exists is because it's outside of the norm. If everyone did it, then there would be no judgment. Right. To bring up a very logical perspective to this. If the norm was BDSM, by that meaning the majority of people partook in it most of the time, then there would be no stigma, there would be no coming out, because it would be normalcy. So I think because the normal is not that, it is in fact abnormal, and therefore the community, the subculture, must seek like-minded individuals out.
Which they want to do in the first place.
So I guess we just have to hunt them down and chastise them.
I googled it. Let's see. This is Marie Claire, so I'm not sure how how exhaustive her survey was. But she wrote an article, said that when 50 Shades of Grey came out, a question popped into my mind: who out there is actually engaging in S&M or BDSM activity, from bondage to spin whips to handcuffs? Who's got their own mini or massive red rooms of pain? So like any good journalist, I tasked just about everyone I could find: bars, coffee shops, on the street, over dinners. I would ask the most intimate of questions. Most people I talked to seemed at one point or another to have tried something a little quote-unquote naughty. And according to the research, a percentage of the population is engaging in genuine hardcore BDSM activity regularly. There are surprisingly few studies on the topic, but a 1990 Kinsey Institute report states that 5 to 10% of the US population engages in sadomasochism, which is a very extreme version of BDSM, on at least an occasional basis. 11% of men and 17% of women report trying bondage, and a 2005 study reports that 36% of adults in the United States use masks, blindfolds, and bondage tools during sex regularly, compared to 20% worldwide. So apparently we're kinkier than our international counterparts.
So in 2018, they revitalized that. 2018 is at 40%, and 36 have now a specific kink, so it's moved up a bit.
But in her survey, she said 85% of the people that she asked had engaged in some sort of light BDSM.
Do you know what's like under
85%.
the umbrella of light BDSM though? Like,
Yeah,
what does
So that would be like what Michael described would fall into that category.
Again,
Tying somebody up, pulling someone's hair.
So a fairly broad spectrum. On that one.
Oh yeah.
It is a very broad spectrum. It covers in like pretty much anything.
Isn't that like
A bit heavier than vanilla?
But that's, I don't know. I think it's a little weird where it's like you're basically using the spectrum of like, here's vanilla and everything else. So it would be easy to say, basically, like, has your partner ever used a toy in bed? You've done it.
Oh, you freak.
Well, but
You sex freak.
That's only when you talk about like BDSM. Within BDSM, within the community, you say like you're into a specific thing or several things. You don't just say you're into BDSM. Like,
no, I'm just saying like if it's kind of a broad spectrum to say it's like kink. Like, I mean, pulling a little hair and shit, I guess is part of it, but like that's not really. I don't think that's what people think of when they think of kink. Like, they think of the scenarios that we talked about that like people who are in the scene do. That's why there's the in and there isn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the extremity of it.
Yeah, I mean BDSM.
How much of percent of the actual thing do you think it is the extremities? I know it's not the 10% because that's the violent stuff, right?
I mean, that would say sadomasochism specifically. So that's so sadomasochism is either, well, you're a masochist, you enjoy. It's a sadist, I think, that enjoys giving.
The sadist enjoys giving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Inflicting.
Obviously not one that I'm particularly interested in myself, since I can't even remember the definitions. But I mean, BDSM is at its heart a power dynamic thing, kink, right? Across all the pairings, it's what it is. It's power dynamics, which is very common in sex. I mean, like, so yeah, you're gonna have a lot of people who fall under that umbrella.
I mean, I would argue then in that case, things like that aren't a kink. If it's such a broad spectrum and so many people are in it, it's no longer an abnormality. So it's no longer a kink. It's part of normal sexual behavior.
Tell
I
him
mean,
that.
I define kink slightly differently because to me, kink is like, I need this to get off,
Mm.
right? Like,
Yeah,
this is
okay.
an intrinsic thing that I need. I need to be told I'm a slut to get off. I need dirty talk to get off. Like, whatever it is, I need hair pulling, or I need somebody to whip me. Like, whatever it is, whatever extreme it is.
I knew it,
It be-
Circa.
I've been outed. Ugh, cat of nine tails. But no, I don't like pain. But you know, it's when it's like the difference. It's like when you're dating somebody and you have like a type versus, you know, they need to fall into this category or I won't date them, and it becomes a fetish, right? Like you're fetishizing someone. So like if you find like Asian dudes attractive, that's fine.
I
Like,
do.
you know,
Who
but
doesn't?
if you
Mhm.
to me it's like if you met someone who was not Asian but they met all of the other criteria that you have and like you hit it off really well and whatever, and you wouldn't date them because they aren't Asian, they are lacking this thing, then
Mm.
it's right, because then it's not about who they are as a person, it's about their Asianness, right? So that's the same for me with kink. It's like you can have sexual preferences like, oh, I like having my hair pulled or whatever, but if you need that every time or you can't come, it's a kink because it's
I okay. Well, maybe there's a difference of the word over there compared to here, but that's not the case here. Because I know plenty of people who can't like go to these like parties just to have the experience, not just to get off, just to have the experience, just like live that thing,
yeah.
and that they don't need to come or anything for that.
Yeah, but I
Jesus
would say that
Christ.
they don't have that kink. They may
So-
enjoy kink and they may enjoy watching others engage in kink, but they don't have that kink specifically. Do you know what I mean?
So wait, are you saying there's people willing to be? Well, okay. So how does the sub dom dynamic work without sex? Isn't that just treating somebody like shit?
Drink my piss.
Some
I'm genuinely confused on that one. Like how do you have a sub dom dynamic without the sexual part of it?
So an example as that is there was I didn't partake in that, but there was a man strung up like in public, and people like that were just walking by could like play with him, quote unquote. Like there were whips, there were paddles, whatever, and that is like and he was completely clothed, but that also is a form of submissiveness.
He was fully clothed and people were just like whipping him and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but
But you couldn't
again,
finger his
he's-
butt cheeks or anything like that.
Jesus. But I
Hey.
mean, but he's the submissive one.
Mike's
He's
the
also
weirdo.
kink. Like if you walk by and you tap him on the butt with a paddle, it doesn't make you a dom. Right? Like
It was like, you know what it was,
have a
nerd?
dom.
You know in Disney World where they have King Arthur's sword and all these people go
Uh-huh.
up to try it out? It was that guy. He had a plug in his butt, and only the true king of the doms could pull it out.
It was not that king of the dom. It's much like when you see Snoopy in the park. You can't touch him. Every now and then, maybe you can do a hug and a photo, but
You can touch him.
Donald
He
Duck's
wants
off
it. He
limits.
just doesn't know he wants it.
now I guess like I don't know what like.
Yeah, you
Is
know
it
what?
still a kink at that point? Though,
You
if
can't
you're
touch
in,
Snoopy unless he's in the Joe Cool persona with the sunglasses.
Like...
I've never
How about-
personally really thought about the definition of kink other than what it encompasses.
Yeah.
But like now that you say it like this, I'm gonna have to think about this. Because,
Well, and I think there's
yeah.
a difference too. I mean, it's like any other word where it can be used in different contexts. So you can say like, I have a kink, meaning like I have a particular preference that I need this in order to have the most fulfilling sexual experience. But when you
Be
talk
more
about
of a fetish, wouldn't it?
but when you talk about like kink, just like in general, that's a term that a lot of people use for sort of like what they would see as like aberrant sexual behavior. So there's
Right.
almost it
Yeah,
depends on how you use it. There's a
Okay.
contextual element to it. You know, in his case, like in that example you gave, I would say he probably has a mixture of he's probably a sub, obviously, and he also probably has a slight exhibitionist streak.
Mhm.
What about consensual non-consent? How does that fit into this?
Well, what do you What do you mean
I
by
mean
that?
that's part of like the contract, the agreements you make. That's part of the
Yes.
boundaries you set.
Interesting.
There's a lot of people who are into rape play.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually one of the more common
And that's
ones.
And
That's
that's
Circus'
why there's
favorite.
color-
Circus says, break into my house with a fake gun,
Exposing
please.
Circa on
Also-
air.
Whips
Also,
is
for
now
whatever
really
reason, you have to be
good.
able to play the trombone.
I mean,
It's just a requirement.
makes
Yeah.
dating really tough.
Musical talent, man.
Yeah, it is. I do like creative. But like, it's one of those things where that's why in these dynamics you have at a period of time when you are not engaging in a scene, like before you ever get to that stage, you have laid out the ground rules. So they've given formal consent. They discuss, like usually, like my friends have told me, they will discuss like what things are on or off the table, right? And that is the list that gets stuck to. So even if the sub in the scene is like, oh no, that's fine, they don't do that because their consent is compromised during the scene, right? Potentially, right? They might be in subspace, they may not be thinking straight. So you agree to everything ahead of time. It's also why you have safe words, and it's why you have color systems. So like most DOMs will do a color check, meaning they'll say color, and then their sub will have to either say green, yellow, or red is the most common like stoplight version, right? So green means that feels great, keep going. Yellow means like feels great, but I'm kind of getting to like a limit for myself, and red means like fucking stop right now, pull the plug, I'm not gonna do this. They will regularly do color checks, and if a sub does not respond to a color check, they end the scene because they are no longer in a place where they can be.
Oh my god, dude. Dude, I'm literally getting
It's
annoyed.
managing.
I'm getting fucking annoyed listening to this. It's like, it just, all this sounds awful and like bureaucratic too. Color check.
The
This
color
is why
check makes
I
it hard
also
when my
find
fetish
that-
is red like green light.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Like you need to have 100% focus on your partner, because like you're constantly checking their headspace, their
Right.
actual like physical space. Like
Woof.
It's also why
it's really intense.
I have found that most people who engage in BDSM regularly or who are like in that community tend to be incredibly intelligent. Like they tend to be really, really smart.
And
Because
autistic.
there's a lot. I mean, I wouldn't say I've observed that, but they because there's a lot to keep track of, right? This is not autopilot sex. Like you cannot put it on autopilot. You have to be sort of vigilant all the time, which is why it's so exhausting. It's also why it's fun.
Ugh. Headache. The whole fucking thing. Thank God.
Well, you'd be out as soon as some girl called you daddy because you don't like that.
No, really.
What about Papi Chulo?
Pape Chulo
All right.
barely
Papi
skates
Chulo
by.
number one.
I don't think I
love
could
it.
ever call a man Papi Chulo and not like absolutely.
What if that's his thing though?
Yeah.
Oh, Papi Chulo.
I think I would
Yeah.
have to be like, I'm so sorry, we're not a match.
Yeah. I want you to dress up
Oh.
like Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite and call me Poppy.
yeah,
Yeah,
no.
Papi Chulo,
Papi.
do you like
I
vanilla
find,
ice cream? No, you don't.
I find Poppy way more cringy than Daddy.
It is.
Like,
They
if
all,
a guy wants me to call him Daddy, I will. I don't care.
but not Papi.
Earthbound,
It
do you
just
like it
feels
when
weird.
the ladies call you daddy?
I don't specifically ask for it, but I don't really mind, I
He
guess.
prefers Mr. Belvedere.
Oh my god, what a fucking callback. Call me
Well, some
Balky
people
from
prefer
Balky and
it.
Larry.
But
Or
in Dutch, daddy and poppy are not nowhere near a bigger thing as in English.
Those
Yeah.
weird
Um,
Americans.
Yeah,
Because
those
like
freaks
in
over here.
Dutch you say poppy, which like, doesn't.
What is that? That sounds like a food.
It's yeah, like
sorry.
the p is way more pronounced in Dutch, so it's not
Oh, boy.
it's not poppy. It doesn't roll off the tongue. It's like poppy. It's fucking. Ugh. But like
What's the Dutch
it
word
doesn't-
for it?
Poppy seeds.
I was gonna speak Dutch there for a second.
No, do it.
In general,
Say it.
no, in general, it's meester, which stands for master.
Oh, Maester,
Yeah.
like in Game of Thrones. Maester
Yeah, right,
Lewin.
Maester, yeah.
Yeah. That's the same way you pronounce it. Yeah.
So they were all in the kink then.
Yep, that's right.
I mean, not
I
sure
have
is
to go.
probably
I have to go eat, and I'm gonna watch a movie with Jen. If you're on when I'm done, although you've already been an hour and a half, I don't know how long you're going today.
3 hours probably about, give or take.
Well, then you guys have a wonderful evening. I will see everybody soon.
See you soon,
You
buddy.
don't do Fridays, right?
Not usually. I might, but it depends on what the Friday is. I think I
Oh,
got
Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
What's
hit
up,
you up
baby?
about Tiny Tina's.
Ooh.
I'm getting into the fall today, and then we'll see.
Hell yeah, let me know, man. I'll schedule it
You guys are doing Tiny
I'm looking
Tina's?
forward to that.
soon. Yeah.
Now, was that a full game?
Looking forward to that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it
it's full. It's basically Borderlands meets Dungeons and Dragons, but yeah, it's full
I,
game.
I never finished the expansion
That's why
pack.
I'm so excited about it.
I
Yeah,
never
it's
finished
awesome.
for 2.
They've changed the formula enough. Like melee combat is a much bigger part of it. Like it's awesome.
Wow.
I'm really
okay.
looking forward to it. It's gonna be good fun.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, hit me up. But everybody have a wonderful night. I'm gonna go watch that new BJ Novak movie, Vengeance.
Nice. Have a good
Oh.
time.
Sweet BJ.
We're reviewing it tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh.
Alrighty. Hell yeah.
Bye.
Later,
But
Matt.
is
What a sweet Matt.
poor Mike being alone with the Kingsters.
Yep. Just me and you guys and Yoji. He insists on being called mommy.
He's never gonna make it out alive.
We'll eat him up.
He'll enjoy it. It's fine.
Barley skates by. Barley skates by. Hey, Two Oak. Okay.
Yeah, I don't understand mommy kink. I don't that to me is just so I don't want to be called mommy in bed, please. Like mm-mm.
Well, I feel like you know what? There's enough men who want women to be their mothers, outside of the bedroom.
Yeah. Oh god. It's a whole can of worms, but yes.
Circa, you ever date a guy like that who basically wanted you to be mommy? Not in bed, but you know.
Well, I have dated a guy who was into that. And I told him flat out, I was like, that's never gonna happen with me. I'm absolutely happy to be a switch. Like, if you want to be dominated, fine, but I'm not taking it there. I don't, because it just immediately takes me out of the headspace. Like, I just find it so unattractive and so cringy that as far as the other, like outside of the bedroom, I have dated guys who they didn't necessarily like want me to take care of them like their mom, but they definitely hadn't quite mastered adulting fully on their own. And so I think I'll put it this way, there was a big gap between our ability to adult. And so as a result, I sort of ended up taking on a little more of that role than I wanted to, and we obviously didn't work out.
Can you give me an example of what that looks like or what it looked like for you?
I mean, like, you know, the reality is like, look, life is difficult. We're all people and we all have stressful times in our lives. So I get that, like, some days you may not, you know, think to do certain things, do your dishes or take out your trash or like maybe you need help booking a flight or like whatever. That's just normal shit. That's fine. But when it's regular, like when you're not in a stressful period and you still come to me and ask to help you make sort of basic, what should I wear? You know, what?
Oh my
what color
god,
sheets
Jesus
out?
fucking
Like,
Christ.
I'm not your mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I shouldn't have to call you and like, I don't mind calling somebody and waking them up if they have like a really early start. Like, I've done that for friends, but like, I'm not doing it on the weekly. You know what I mean?
Jesus
Like,
Christ.
So yeah, I am somebody who at this point in my life, I have very clear standards for the people in my life, period, whether that's romantic or platonic.
As you should.
And I have a very clear picture on who I am and what I want and what I bring to the table. And it's, if I'm being honest, I bring a lot to the table. So I don't, I'm happy to be somebody's friend, but I do not tolerate in a romantic partner somebody who is not a partner, right? Like, I don't want to make all the decisions. I don't want to be in charge all the time. And I need to be able to rely on them to, if I'm having a rough week or a rough day, it's bad enough to feel like my life is falling apart that week. I can't also have the guilt of feeling like your life falls apart because I'm not on my game that week. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So because of that,
Circa,
I've
do the
learned to
dishes.
fuck you.
Circa, do the laundry.
Do your own damn dishes. But you know, I tend to weed that out pretty quickly. Like, I find I don't run into it very much anymore because my sort of gut check sense tends to torch that early. And I'm also incredibly clear from the beginning that like my priority is me,
As it
and
should be.
I want their priority to be them. I don't want to be the center of somebody's world. I don't want to complete somebody. I don't want to be their other half. Like, I am not interested. There's virtually nothing that will turn me off faster.
Interesting.
Like, have your shit together. You know, be a whole adult, and then I can be a whole adult, and we can come together as two whole adults and have a bomb ass time. But like, I don't expect somebody, that sort of fairy tale of like, oh, you're my whole world, and I met you, and like the heavens opened up. Like, it's not healthy. It's too much pressure, right? Like, it puts, like, I'm clumsy. You put me on a pedestal, I will fall off. Like, I'm just not interested in it. And I have had to end relationships because they got too attached too quickly. It's not even clingy. It was more like they just fell in love really fast. Like, and I have noticed that happens to me more often than it does not happen to me.
What's too fast? What's the timeline on that?
I mean, I think it depends on how I'm feeling to some degree. I mean, sometimes you meet somebody and it's just like, I'm not going to say you can't meet somebody and a month later be in love with them. Like,
wow, that does seem a little tight.
I've never done that, but I know people have. I have a very good friend who her parents met, and they got married 4 days after they met.
Jesus Christ.
And it was the second marriage for both of them. They both knew what they wanted. They both knew what they were looking for. They have been married for 42 years. So I'm not going to say that it doesn't work or it doesn't happen, but I don't think it's common. I'm also not somebody who can fall in love with somebody over distance, like a long distance thing. For me personally, I need to meet the person and spend lots of time with them before I could even begin to feel that way. And I have found that apparently is not a problem for men.
Long distance love?
So, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, like I said, I have admittedly very high standards, but I can afford to, because I'm okay. If I never got married again, I'd be okay. Like,
did you have lower standards when you met your first husband?
I don't think I had lower standards. I think I didn't have as fully formed standards. I was younger, right? And I think the things that you value. I mean, I met my ex-husband when I was 19.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
your standards were lower because you just didn't know any better.
I think they're just different. I mean, the things that you look for in a partner at 19 are very different than the things you look for at 30-something.
Sure.
And so, I don't know because I think lower implies like where your standards fall amongst other people in your sort of dating demographic, right?
Well, I mean, like, comparatively, would you still date the same kind of guy now that you would have then?
In some ways, yeah. I think he had a lot of the things, frankly, that I look for.
Big dick.
He was
large shoulders.
He did have broad shoulders. I had no idea about the dick when we started dating because that wasn't my focus, believe it or not. Also, size is
and that's why you got a divorce. You didn't check the goods beforehand.
That was not our issue. Our sex life was never our issue. He is my only husband so far. That is true.
So far, Yoji.
But no, I mean, he was ambitious. He was kind. He shared the same faith as I did.
Muslim.
You know, yes, you're outing me on all levels.
Devout Muslim.
He was. Oh, hello, Eric.
Hello, Eric.
Hello.
You know, he was smart. He was driven. So, like, there's a lot of things, sure, that he had that I absolutely look for in a partner now.
Well, there you go.
It just didn't work out in our case, and that's okay. You know, I don't wish him anything but the best, honestly. Like, much to the chagrin of my friends and family who are like, you should hate him. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have the energy to hate him, to be honest.
Yeah, it's
like,
a lot of work. It's almost as much work as it takes to be a BDSMer.
Listen, I heard that this was a mommy issues chat. I came running.
Oh, being divorced?
No, just the mommy issues part. Is that not what we're talking about? Because if it isn't, I'm going to go.
We're talking about Circa's first husband and the downfall of their beautiful relationship.
Yep.
And how it was all
nice.
her husband's fault.
That is is not at all how that went, but okay.
That's what I gleaned. That's what I heard.
Well, that's unfortunate for both of you.
Now we wish him ill. She doesn't. I do.
No.
I do though. I want him to get hit by a
No.
bus.
No, Michael. No, he does not deserve.
That's not
that.
what you said, Mike. Those weren't the words that you said. You said you wish he would take a 20-mile drive off of a 5-mile road. Is that what you said?
I want his lover to slip off the condom and then give him the HIV virus.
To puncture the condom.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate the support, as oddly expressed as it is. However, for the record, I do not wish him any ill.
No, I know you don't. I do. I'll
You have to
take
say
on
that for the record.
Yeah.
No, but
for
even
the
off
court
record,
case.
I mean,
Wink, wink,
For the-
wink, wink.
Yeah.
No,
I'm reading between the lines here. I know it's
Yeah.
Just kidding, Circa. Just
know.
kidding.
I know
You're a
I'm-
good soul.
Yes. I'm a medium soul.
Yeah. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, he admitted he has a soul. It is a Kodak moment. But no, he's, you know, you can be a decent person and still not be a match with somebody, right? Do I like the way that he ended things? Do I like the way that he treated me during the divorce, or frankly in times during our marriage? No. But I also did things that he probably didn't like very much either. And so I recognize that we are two imperfect people who just weren't ultimately a match. What we wanted out of our lives, it changed for him what he wanted, and mine didn't. And at the end of the day, why would we, you know, we tried. We gave it 17 years. So
That's a
we
lot
can't
of
figure
years,
it out.
baby.
yeah.
Mike doesn't like the sound of that.
But if it doesn't work after people genuinely trying, smart people trying for that long, and you don't have kids, and like, then cut your losses, right? Like, because he deserves to be happy. I don't agree.
Is he
with
happy
what
now?
No, I don't think he is.
How do you know? He
Which
tried to
makes
slide
me-
into your DMs?
No.
Take me
But,
back, baby.
God, no.
I need you.
It wouldn't work anyway. And he knows
Circa,
that.
I need you. You're all I think about.
Why did he turn into Batman? Why did he turn into Batman?
I don't know.
Circa, I need you.
Where is she?
Also,
Mm.
it would be super weird if he called me Circa. But just for the record. Spoiler, that's not my real name.
It's her
But,
real name. She just.
It is, you know.
This is a red herring. It's her
It is
legal name.
officially now. You know, when I switched back to my
Circa.
maiden name, I first name to Circa.
Circa,
But no,
you're
I
my
mean,
one and only.
I miss
I
clapping
don't-
those cheeks.
Oh, come on.
What, she said their sex life was raucous.
Listen.
it was fulfilling. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, see? She was filled up all the way to the hilt.
Ah,
This,
she's rarely in here. And then, you know what? You know what you walked into. You're a fucking
Oh,
adult.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, I don't know what this says about me, but I have missed talking to you guys.
No.
This time I'll let you
Oh,
finger my butthole, I promise.
Ah,
I've changed, baby.
Come on. Come on.
Okay.
That's why they got divorced.
Yeah. No, I don't. Here's the truth. I don't know if he's happy because he and I don't talk. Right? I
Oh.
haven't had a conversation with him in 2 years.
You give good
um,
conversation, so it's his loss. That
do,
turd.
and it is his loss. But you know, to be honest, I don't think the thing he tells me that he wants, I don't think it will make him happy. Because if I'm being completely honest, the things about his life that make him unhappy are things within himself. And he is very much focused on how other people make his life hard, and he doesn't do any of the inside work. And that is a royal shame, because if he would do that work, he could have, I mean, objectively, he has all the pieces to have an absolutely fucking fantastic life. He makes tons of money, he's really good looking, like he travels internationally, he can have anything that he wants, and he's still unhappy.
Yeah,
and
no.
that should tell you something.
Well, yeah, sure.
If you,
What's
you know,
that?
if you make enough money that you can do pretty much whatever the fuck you want, and you're good looking, and you have a good career, and you have abs and all that shit, and you're still fucking unhappy,
Yeah, no.
you got some work to do,
Yeah.
right? I make a third of what he makes. I make a good living, but I make a third of what he makes. And I don't have a perfect body. I'm cute, but I don't have a perfect body. But I fucking love my life. And I'm super happy. And that's because I make it a conscious choice to be happy.
Yeah,
I
Earthbound.
work on shit I don't like. Yeah, it's Earthbound. He's
Huh?
I
What?
grew down into it.
What?
Evie's like,
I was
what?
doing something.
Yeah,
I was
I
listening.
I was gonna say,
Sorry,
right
Yeah.
now, just like walking
Yeah.
into the like sitting in the
I
corner of the
didn't mean
room
to
eating
shit
his
on your
ice cream.
happiness at all.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew this, Evie, but actually all that like really hard self-care that I do, that's not what makes my life happy. You actually are the reason.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so flattered.
Aw.
Yeah. That's right. You
It is so
you,
sweet.
You fat Dutchman. You do it for it, baby.
I think I've talked to Circa twice and I make it this happy. It's
Yeah,
subjective.
we've talked more than that, but like,
But,
yeah,
well, it's been a
Yeah.
long ass.
He only
It's
counts
been a
twice.
while. He only remembers.
He only
twice.
counted two.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
once now and once
usually
back in
too high to
2018.
remember, so-
He can only count up to 2.
Yeah.
Aw.
Getting a six pack
cute.
and maintaining that is too much of a hassle, says Yoji. Yoji's doing crunches right now.
I didn't even
He's
want
trying
my
to get a
6-pack
2-pack.
back.
No, he's
Like
one
that.
of those obnoxious people that can like live on Dr. Pepper and hamburgers and still have a six-pack.
Oh.
Like, he just
Yeah, he deserves
Well, now-
death.
Well, now I'm double. Now I'm yeah. Where's that bus?
Whereas
I'm double cursing him now.
I'm driving that bus
never-
now.
I will never
Yeah.
forget we were like getting ready for our wedding, and of course I, like every other woman ever, went on a diet because every woman wants to be as like thin as possible on her wedding day, and he also went on a diet to like get like shredded, right? So he would like come home and he'd be like, "How'd the diet go today?" And I was like, "Oh, it'd be okay. Like I had a a salad and some chicken and vegetables." And I'd be like, "How's yours?" And he's like, "It was great. I had like 3 Krispy Kremes and 2 hamburgers," because he was just trying to bulk, right? And I was like, "I fucking hate you."
It's also a really
Like,
bad way to bulk.
Yeah, it is. But like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, let's
That's
get judgy.
No, that's a dirty bulk. Yeah, no, you're not supposed
I'm-
to. Yeah.
Dirty
I'm-
bulk.
I'm
Yeah,
the
Mike
person-
knows about dirty bulks.
Yeah.
I'm the person who can look at a chocolate cake and gain 5 pounds. Like I don't even need to eat the goddamn thing. And he's the person who could just like, I cut back to 2 Dr. Peppers a day, and he'd drop like 20 pounds. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Circa's got a
Yeah,
condition.
but you know what? He's fucking miserable, so he
Yeah.
can go fuck himself
Yeah,
and his
fuck that
Dr.
guy.
Pepper. How's
Circa,
that?
Circa's
feel
got that hormonal condition called like
You know
fat girl hormones, which, I don't,
Ah,
which no, hear me out.
Call it that. It's never
Well,
been a thing.
it's not her fault that she gains weight. She could have like 800 calories a day and she'll still put on weight.
I
What
won't
is
put
it
on
then?
weight, but no, I mean he's not wrong.
What do they call that? I mean, obviously I was making a rude joke, but what's the actual thing that does that to your body that fucks with your metabolism?
I have a combination of things. So for me, I just got a really shitty sort of genetic hand when it comes to metabolism.
Tell me.
So I'm hypothyroid, which makes things
Hypothyroid.
really
Oh, that's the big one.
You are the yeah. It's a big one.
way off. And the thing is, because they sort of feed into each other, right? So people who have hypothyroid, particularly Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is what I have, are also more prone to like mental illness, so like depression and anxiety. So those feed in, right? Because obviously depression leads to lack of movement, and it leads to like, caring for yourself in whatever way feels good at the time, including like overeating and things like that.
Dude, that's my mom 100%. Her
Yeah,
whole life.
and then the thing is for me, because hypothyroidism makes it extremely hard, unless you are incredibly vigilant and test your blood every like 4 months and like get it adjusted. It like being heavy and also having those genetic factors make you very, very prone to being diabetic. Or developing
Jesus
Really?
Christ, man. I'm sorry, sir.
So not just mental sickness, but also physical.
Yes, exactly.
It,
So for
it brings
me-
everything to the table. Okay.
Yeah. So for me, it's one of those things where I actually I'm down 30 pounds. In the last, like, 2
Ooh,
months.
fuck yeah, dude. I know how
Yeah.
I know
Oh, yeah.
how difficult that is. That's not it's
Good
hard enough.
job.
It's hard enough for a normal person without issues to fucking
Yeah,
do
I
that.
mean, I was diagnosed with insulin resistance when I was 14, which normally people who are insulin resistant within 5 years, they're diabetic. That's pretty standard. I did not get diagnosed with diabetes till I was 38. So I outran it for 24 years. And that's
How do you mean outran, Circa? Is it
so they're like, so it's funny because people who develop type 2 diabetes, I think the general overarching like consensus is like, I mean, I've even heard comedians like make jokes about it. That they should rename diabetes to diabetes you're born with and diabetes you get because you're fat. Like that's what people think. Like, oh, if you get diabetes, it's because you're overweight. The reality is there are 14 lifestyle and genetic factors that put you at risk for type 2 diabetes. Being sedentary and being overweight is one of those factors. But things like drinking excessively or not keeping to a standard sleep schedule or high levels of stress, or like those are also all risk factors. Smoking is a risk factor.
interesting?
For me, I had exactly one of those factors because I don't engage in any of the others. I don't drink caffeine. I very rarely drink alcohol, maybe 2 drinks a month. I don't smoke. I've never done drugs. I don't eat artificial sugar. I I eat like a fucking Instagram model. Like I eat like kale and like healthy shit basically. I am very strict about my macros. I'm very strict about like I have a dietitian, I have a personal trainer. Like I work incredibly hard to maintain my health because my body does not do that naturally. If I just like if I was not disciplined about it, I would have so many health issues. But for me, I have very few health issues except for the ones that are genetically sent my way. And that's because I have to, or because I have a certain lifestyle I want to live and I have certain things I want to do with my life and that requires me to be healthy. But yeah, so for me with my hypothyroidism, I get tested every single year, usually every 6 months I have a full panel run to see if anything else is breaking down. Thank you, God, for that genetic hand. And this year, my prize in the bottom of the Cracker Jack box was diabetes. So I was diagnosed 3 months ago, maybe, right before I moved to California. And it was really shitty. And I found out 5 minutes before I had to say goodbye to my best friend, which was terrible. This is awful. But the reality is, I called my doctor. I have his home number. He's been my doctor for 12 years. And I said, look, this happened and we will deal with it because that is what we do in this house. Like, we don't cry over the cards we're dealt. We play the hand and we play it well.
I mean, if you cried, that'd be permissible.
Oh, no, I cried initially. But like,
yeah, I mean, that's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, I cried initially.
I would have cried too.
Well,
Mike's crying now.
Yeah.
The good news in my case is they caught it really early, right? Like I'm like baby stages of diabetic because I get tested so often. And one of the hardest parts about treating diabetes is getting people to switch over to a healthy eating lifestyle. But for me, like, he has 12 years of records of what I eat every day because I track it on an app and he has access to my track. So he knows exactly what I eat. And I don't lie. If I had like a double cheeseburger and potato chips for dinner, that shit goes in my app. So he was like, you already eat the way that I would tell you to eat. Like, you already do all the things. Like, this is going to be a medication fix for you. And when he told me, I was like, I called him and I said, look, we will handle this. But what I need to know is, did I do this to myself by being heavy? Because that's something I'm going to have to unpack with my therapist. Right? And he was like, look, I'm not going to tell you that it didn't contribute. Of course it contributed. It's one of the risk factors. But I have patients who are older than you, fatter than you, live a terrible lifestyle, way worse than you ever lived, and they are super healthy and they don't have diabetes. It is my medical opinion that you were always going to get this. It was just a question of when. And you outran it for 24 years, which is 5 times longer than most people do. So congratulations on a race well run, and now we'll put you on medication. And so at this point, I am, so I don't have to test my blood sugar, but I do because I like to have the data and make sure that I'm doing the right things. And when I was diagnosed, my resting blood sugar was 240, which was like firmly in diabetic range, but not like, oh my God, alarming diabetic range.
It's alarming diabetic range. So.
Yeah.
I think it's like 300 or higher. That's when
Okay.
you really have to start worrying about like damage to like internal organs.
Yikes.
So at this point, my average resting blood sugar, normal, that is like, I think it's like 120 or lower. And then they like diabetics to get under like 150. I'd have to look at my chart, but I think that's roughly correct. For the last 3 weeks, my resting blood sugar has been 128. So I, at this point, like if he took my blood sugar today, he would not diagnose me as diabetic. Because I'm just really.
But then, considering that, like you said, if he diagnoses you or if he tests you today, you would not register as one. Is there something to be said that maybe you weren't at all?
Oh no, I
or is it because you've gotten it under control?
Yeah, it's because I've gotten it under control with some lifestyle changes and with medications.
Gotcha.
If I didn't take my metformin and if I didn't take my Ozempic, my numbers would go back up to some degree.
Gotcha.
The thing is, for me, the only natural risk factor that I can change at this point to make it better is to lose weight. right? And to move more, because I don't have any of the others. I don't do any of the other things.
Yeah.
So, and there's a chance that even if I did that, I would still be diabetic, because it really is largely genetic in my case. I mean, he was like, look, it is my professional medical opinion that this was just like in your cards, you know? But it became like a cycle that I couldn't break, because I was diabetic, it made losing weight extremely hard. And then by staying heavy, it increased my chances of diabetes. So actually, after my first day of crying, when I sat down and really thought about it, I was like, I suspect, give this 6 months and I'm going to be so fucking, it's going to be like my divorce. When it first happened, it was awful and I hated it. And now when people ask me about being divorced, I say it's the best fucking thing that ever happened to me. Not because I hate him and not because I'm like whatever, but because it was not a healthy place for me. And I am so much happier like in my life, and I'm so much more comfortable in my skin now, right? I was having trouble motivating myself to get to the gym. Guess who doesn't have any trouble motivating herself anymore, right? Like, so I think it's going to be actually a huge blessing, and it's going to end up, I mean, like I said, they put me on this medication, and combined with like moving more and eating slightly differently and actually eating more. I actually eat more now than when I was diagnosed, because my dietitian yelled at me for not eating breakfast and engaging my metabolism. I've lost 30 something pounds, and I'd already lost like 20 before that. So I've lost like 50 over the last couple of years. I still have a ways to go, but like I'm well on my way. I'll get there because I'm stubborn. So,
well done.
Yeah, well done, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
if you had ever told me like 3 years ago that I would live in fucking California, be working for one of my dream companies, doing something I fucking love, making a really good salary, and have amazing friends and amazing, like I've leveled up my friendships, I've like every aspect of my life is better. And so, you know, some of it was luck, some of it was being in the right place at the right time, a lot of it was hard work. And my health is kind of the last part that I want to renovate.
Piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, and I'm actually a little terrified of like when that happens, because like I don't know if
what are you gonna do next?
I'm not ready. I don't know if I'm ready to be a bad bitch. You know what I mean?
Good for you.
I don't know if men in LA are ready for me to be a bad bitch.
Heard there are a lot of fuckboys over there.
There are quite a lot of fuckboys, yes. Luckily, I know how to shut down a fuckboy quick. I also tend not to date them because I see through it pretty quickly and I don't tolerate
It's a fuckboy.
I mean, it's what you think it is, right?
Why did you laugh? What is that?
Are you genuinely asking?
Alexa,
Or-
what's a fuckboy?
No.
I'd rather
don't
not
ask
answer
Alexa.
that.
Rude.
Just someone who's only in it for the sex, right?
Um,
And it's different than say somebody who is upfront about that. But fuckboys tend to like lie to a girl to get them in bed and then drop them. As soon as they
Manipulative.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with enjoying sex and like having multiple sexual partners or playing the field, like as long as you're honest about it, you know what I mean? But there are definitely people who are not honest about it, and that becomes problematic, especially if you haven't learned to. I find that there are, and I'm going to pick on women for a minute. I think this is true of both sexes, but I think it's truer for women. I think there are a lot of women who have not embraced what they bring to the table enough to feel like they deserve to set a boundary. And
what does that mean?
Meaning they think, okay, well, if I were a size 6 and I had a perfect body and like there was nothing wrong with me, I would be allowed to say, go fuck yourself. I'm not sleeping with you or whatever. But
Because they're not those things, they don't feel.
they don't. They
don't
feel
have the self-worth.
Because a lot of times fuckboys are really, really attractive, right? And they often will start dating girls who are objectively physically less attractive, slightly less attractive than them, because they feel like they're an easy mark, right?
Yes.
And
I know a few guys who did that.
And I think people feel, and then there's also the whole rumor of like, and I'll pick on curvier girls because I'm a curvier girl. You know, oh, like curvy girls give better head, or they're better in bed, or they try harder, or whatever. Like there's those things.
That's what guys say to each other.
Michael,
You're right.
So they think,
stay
okay,
here.
great.
Stay here for a minute, Mike.
She's probably got less self-esteem, and she's going to be a better lay. So I'm going to pick on her.
I see.
And there are a lot of women who don't feel comfortable saying, you know, you don't have a right to treat me that way just because I am objectively less to the social standard than you are. Like, you know, I wish you the best of luck. I have zero problem saying that to somebody. Like, I have zero problem shutting that down.
Know your worth.
Now, have you always had that sort of mechanism, or is that something that you built up as you went into California and sort of armed yourself with better tools?
I think that is something that I have had the chance to build up further. I think I've always had that to some degree. I mean, I've always been a little bit of a spitfire, and I've never been the quiet one in the room, as everyone can tell, because I haven't shut my mouth. You know, for heaven's sakes, I went to school to be a prosecutor. You can't do that job. You can't want to do that job if you are not okay with speaking up, right? Like, that's just inherent to that position. But I mean, if you think about it, I met my husband when I was 19, and we were together till I was 36. So I didn't really have a lot of occasion to have to do that because I was with somebody that whole time.
I see what you're saying.
You know, looking back, I could have set firmer boundaries within my own marriage about behavior and how I was okay or not okay with how things went, and I should have. It's one of the reasons we broke up, because when I got to the point that I was setting boundaries, he did not like it very much. But
you know, he had grown accustomed to a version of you.
Exactly. That's the thing, is like, when your partner, whether that's your, you know, marriage partner, or whether it's someone you're dating or someone you're talking to, or you have a situationship, whatever it is, when they level up their mental health and their mental game, you have to level yours up, or they're not going to stay with you, because they're not going to settle for the standards that the old them settled for, right? Like, you teach people how to treat you, and I'm sorry, but I'm of a quality of person that, like, you need to treat me well. And I will treat you like a fucking king in response. Like, I'm such a giver, but like, and I'm that way with all my friendships. Like, you're in or you're out, and I'm not hurt. If you don't have the time or the inclination to invest in a friendship with me, that's completely fine, because you're a grown-ass adult, and that is your choice. You get to choose where you spend your time, but I also get to choose where I spend mine. And if you're not investing with me, I'm not investing with you.
Tell
and
him,
I wish you the best, and it's done. You know, like, I'm just older, and I just have less fucks to give. I'm just gonna put it towards things that actually matter. But yeah, I think a lot of it is therapy and time, and frankly, discovering the amount of strength that I had to build the life that I want. And it wasn't because I wanted to; I had to, right? Like, the bottom of my life dropped out from underneath me, right? And I
knew he was a bottom.
Of course, that's what you would get from that.
Did you see that coming, Circa, when you said bottom? Or
you
were
know,
you in the middle of a
I
thought?
did, and I did it anyway. You know, it is my dream, so I feel like he's able to engage.
I only hear what I want to hear.
I'm a giver, remember? But no, I mean, like, your choice is to lay there, and I did that for a little while. Of course, I licked my wounds. That's normal. But, you know, at the end of the day, you're responsible for your life. So if I wanted it to change, and I wanted it to be different, and I wanted to be different, it was up to me to be different, and it was up to me to do the work to get there. So I did.
Well said.
Well done, buddy.
Thank you.
Welcome back. It's nice hearing your voice.
Thank you. It's nice hearing hers too. I like frequently.
Mike's not so much, but like,
no.
This is his show, so there's no way getting around that. Yeah.
But I don't normally get to hop on, because usually by the time I'm done with my workday, Mike is not streaming.
Yeah, today's
he's taking on more of a daytime routine, and it weirds me out. I don't think it's really him.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, a little later today, I had house stuff that needed doing.
Yeah.
Even I get to jump on recently nowadays.
Yeah. We get to talk about F1. Yeah.
Well, and this time of year is really busy for us at work, since it's football season. So, you know, it's like basically.
Now you pulled the trigger. You're in California.
Yeah.
How are you thriving? I suspect very well.
I'm doing okay. It's hot here, man. I'm not used to it, and I am too pale for this state.
Now, where were you previously? Where had you been transplanted from?
I was in DC before.
Yeah, no, the California. No, yeah, this time of year. Mm-hmm.
I learned my lesson the first time I went to Disneyland not wearing sunscreen, and I was like, I came home as red as Sebastian the Crab. It was not cute. But no, it's good. I mean, my job is I'm fantastic. I get to combine sort of design and tech and sports, which are three of my favorite things. And of course, my coworkers are really nice, and the company culture is really good. So and
It's
obviously
big in California. That's how they maintain their personnel, is leaning heavily into like a healthy culture. So that's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, well, and they have to, because to be honest, like the level of talent where I work is really high, so it's easy. People are often poached, right, or at least asked and targeted for that. So they have to keep us happy, or they wouldn't have employees.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, I am finally made the move out like 2 months ago, and pretty much
Congratulations.
settled. I still have to finish setting up the rest of my office. I finally got my mic set up, so this is not my big fancy mic, but my backup mic.
Backup mic.
Yeah.
Why did you whisper that? Why are you weird? Why did you whisper that?
Sometimes, and I do this to people, I take the last word that they say and I say it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if I keep doing it,
No,
it's very
I
disconcerting.
understand. Why do you why do you do it?
Maybe the mechanics of what he did.
It's just funny to me.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, no, as always, I live my own bubble, and I do things that tickle me for my own pleasure. Like a right lunatic,
Dude.
like a right old
I'm into
lunatic.
Yeah.
I am listening
But,
to you though.
No, I know.
Thriving,
Barely.
job, ESPN,
Yeah.
a combination of tech and sports and art.
I think that's how Mike checks back into the conversation. That's what I was waiting for. Listen, I was checked out for a better half of 2 minutes there. The last thing I heard you say
No.
was,
I'm checked in. I just
All right.
maybe what it is like in my head. I'm like, oh, I should contribute, but I don't have anything of note to say, so I'll just repeat the last thing that she said.
He just parried.
Yeah, okay.
But, I mean, fair enough.
Fair
It's
enough.
a valid tactic.
Tactic.
It's a good tactic. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, things are good. We just had end of year self reports, which was interesting because I've never had to do that before.
Ooh.
That was joy.
You have to report on yourself?
Yeah, we have to like basically talk about like how we think we met our goals in the last year and what we can improve on, and like how we contributed and how we helped the business meet its KPIs and all that, stuff.
Well, that sounds like a very Disney thing to do. Are you at Disney?
Yeah. I'm in ESPN,
Oh, boy.
technically, but yes, Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a product designer for sports and interactive, so specifically fantasy football is sort of my main.
Ooh. Speaking of,
jam.
I want to ask Earthbound while he's here. Do people participate in fantasy F1, EB?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Do you do
I'm
that?
in
Do you get
I'm
involved?
in F1.
You're in F1 fantasy league? I didn't know you watched.
I am in at last count 15 leagues this year.
Jesus fucking Christ, yeah.
Because
That's a-
we have
There
we do
comes
it,
Legan.
because we do it for all the sports, right? So like we
Oh yeah.
so as a part of my job, I am required to, not required, but I am strongly encouraged to play fantasy. So I literally spend about an hour of my work day playing fantasy sports, and I get paid for it because it's part of my job.
God. Could you date
Not
someone
too shabby.
who isn't into sports?
Absolutely, yeah.
Love that.
I like sports.
Because I would hazard to guess that just because it's her job, it does not define her 100%.
Well, that's what I was trying to gauge, right? Like how much, because there are certainly people out there who probably couldn't because it's it's so much of who they are. I guess I was trying to gauge that with circa. Is it the job or is it, more?
I mean, I'm more of a like I'm a huge college sports girl. Like I love college football and college basketball. I'm not as much of a big pro sports, and I did not give two flying flips about like UFC or F1 or soccer before I worked for my company, because now I need to know those things, and so that I can understand the product and the user base and all of those things. But I like sports. I enjoy it. It would make me sad if my partner like refused to like didn't want me to watch football or something, but that would be more like, why are
Turn
you
that off.
About
Turn
what
that
I
shit
do?
off.
It wouldn't be about the sports. It'd be about like, why are you curtailing
Right.
freedom
Please.
to do what I want.
Please support me.
I would have a much harder time. I think the one thing that would be tough for me to date is somebody who isn't even in the slightest bit nerdy or creative, because that
Like they were just straight up. What do you think? Give me a job description that you would say that is probably not a good match. What would they be doing?
job necessarily.
Pilot.
Professional
Pilot.
gambler.
Pilot, maybe. Pilot, I don't think I would be secure enough because they'd be gone so long. I think
Also,
I'd
dude,
okay,
pilots are
right.
notoriously polyamorous.
Yes. Yes. I think like consultant bros, like if you're like a consultant for Deloitte,
Mm.
like
CPA.
That's strange. That's oddly specific. I feel
yeah,
like that's
well,
a thing.
it's a thing.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, if you are a consultant for Deloitte who also like plays guitar in your free time, then we're fine, because it's not about your job. Like for me, maybe even more than most women, I don't really care what you do for a living. As long as you don't expect me to be your sugar mommy, like I don't care. If I need to go,
I'm out.
if I want to go on a fancy trip to Paris, I'll pay for it myself. I don't need you to do that for me. Like, so it's more about like who they are holistically as a person, and whether our values line up, like whether what we want out of our lives lines up, as well as a couple other sort of key metrics, like, you know, do we approach finances similarly? And
I was gonna say, like, are finances involved at all? Do you look at somebody's year to date and be like, I can't date this person?
Finances only matter to me to the extent of how well do you manage what you have. It's not about how much you
Really?
have. Yeah,
Really?
I
Okay.
have dated, seriously, like one of my ex-boyfriends was a cop. He didn't make very much money. Didn't matter to me, because he
Mhm.
didn't need to support him because he managed his budget well, right? So for me, it's much less about. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're like fabulously rich, like bonus points, I guess, as long as it doesn't turn into an asshole. But like, that's not my.
But what about the other way? What about not fabulously rich? We're talking, as far as tax bracket is concerned, 2 notches below you.
I don't care, as long as they're not threatened by me.
Mm-hmm.
I have had that happen where they're like, and I get it, because I think my therapist would be so proud of me for being able to say this without cracking a joke about myself. But I think I come off relatively intelligent when I speak to people. I have, 2 graduate degrees. I have a really solid job and with really solid benefits and a solid paycheck. Some men are put off by that because they feel threatened or intimidated or
Insecure.
Whatever, insecure about it, and I find that very unattractive.
Yeah, that's gross.
Like, security is a sort of self-security is a big deal for me. That's not to say you can't be insecure. I certainly have insecurities, and I think it's part of being a good partner to support people and help them to work past those things. But if you inherently have an issue with me being successful, that's an issue. You should be cheering your partner on to do their best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I don't have much.
No, I actively cheer for my wife to fail. That's why.
No, but
If
I mean,
she's anywhere near success, I club her at the knees.
Absolutely. How dare. And look, and success is different. It doesn't necessarily mean financial success or career success. It could be that you're the most amazing parent, or you give back to your community, or you like being passionate about something and being ambitious is really attractive to me, but that doesn't necessarily just mean your job. You can have a 9-to-5 because you're somebody who just, like, you're not careerly like ambitious in your career, but like be ambitious about something, like have something that sort of lights your fire, right? And it can't be me. It can't be
you.
I can't be the spark, right? Or the center of things. I don't want. Goodbye, Eric.
No. His computer goes to sleep and it kicks him out.
Stupid freaking Discord kicks me out every time my damn computer
Sorry.
takes a nap.
Being too
No,
engaged, you must be.
The passion can't be you.
Yeah. I don't want to be somebody's whole world. Because to be honest, they're not going to be mine. And that's not because I don't love them or I don't care. They will absolutely be at the top, near the top of my priority list. But they will not be the top of my priority list. Because I'm the top of my priority list. Hi, Nikki.
Nikki.
You
Nikki.
know, because ultimately prioritizing myself in a healthy way and not a like condescending jackass kind of way makes me a better partner. It makes me a better friend. It makes me a better daughter. It makes me a better like everything. You can't pour from an empty pitcher. You can't be there for somebody if you have nothing to give, and you can only have something to give if you're putting time into yourself.
Well, it's
And
like the great
yourself.
philosopher Paul says. How in the hell are you going to love somebody else if you can't love yourself?
Exactly. Also, how do you expect somebody else to love you if you don't love yourself? You know?
Carefully and gently, like with kid gloves. No?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Exactly the same way
Wonderful.
Circo would top her former lover. Gently. At
Mhm.
first.
No.
Gently at first, vigorously thereafter,
Yeah.
Well, there's a
murderously near the
there
end.
has to be a build up, right? There's a rhythm to it, right? To all the best things in life. But yeah, no, I genuinely want success for my partner. I'm thrilled for them when they do well. If they make more money than me, great. Awesome. If they're better, if they're more talented than me in something, awesome. Great. You do you. I'm so lucky to be with you. But like have ambition about something. Don't be threatened by my success.
Yeah,
Because
Nikki.
the truth is too, if I'm with somebody, they're part of my success. Right? Like if I'm with somebody and we have a good relationship, if I'm killing the game, it's because they were helping support me. They were being there. They were cheering me on. They were, telling me I can handle it and do it even when I thought I couldn't. Like they're part of that success. And I know that. I'm not stupid enough to think I did it all on my own, you know?
Yeah, Mike.
You couldn't have
like,
done
give me
without me.
You're nothing without me.
but I expect the same from them too. Right?
Mhm.
Turn. And yeah, I mean I admit like my list of requirements and sort of I don't have a big list of deal breakers, but I have the ones that I have are really firm and it's going to take quite a person to meet those.
What is
But
what is top of that list? What does it look like? What's the list of requirements?
Girth.
Top 2. Girth?
Numero uno.
No, size and physical endowment are very low on my list because all of those things can be worked with. Like it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, again, bonus points. Like I'm not gonna say that it doesn't matter at all, but like that's not near the top of my list.
That's not the deal breaker.
So deal breakers for me.
Mhm.
I don't have many. I mean, I have things I like that are like icing on the cake, but in terms of like, because to me, a deal breaker is truly like if this person has it, even if they are perfect in every other way, we are not a match, right? So it needs to be something critically important. So for me,
Yes.
intellectual stimulation is probably my number one deal breaker. If you cannot keep up with me and I have to explain to you why I'm fucking hilarious, we are not a match. Sorry. Like, I am somebody who I am pretty smart. I am very educated. I like to read. I like to challenge myself and learn new skills. I like to learn new languages. And if you don't have hobbies, if you don't, and you don't have to read, but like if you don't listen to podcasts or like if you don't pay attention to the world around you, and you can't be bothered to use proper grammar, like I'm just not interested. I just lose interest very quickly. We can be friends, but I lose interest as a partner in somebody if they
Being somewhat engaged intellectual.
yes. And the thing is people mix it up with educational attainment, which is not one of my deal breakers. I have dated people who did not go to college, and that's fine with me.
Dumb as
Because-
rocks.
Huh?
So they're dumb as rocks.
No. No, they're not dumb. That's the thing. Like they may not have the educational like achievements because they didn't like they don't have the degree, but they're really smart. Their intellect is there and their curiosity is there. And that is what I'm asking for. I love banter and wit and flirting. Like and I like, intellectual flirting. Like it's not just all about, dirty talk, right? Although that's fun too. So yeah, intellectual stimulation is probably my number one. I would say close second is physical compatibility in terms of like libido and preferences, because that's really important to me and I'm a very sexual person. So
Say sexual or sensual?
both, but I mean,
Okay.
I said sexual, but I'm both.
Mhm.
So yeah, so for me, if you're like a, once a week is fine with me person, like we're probably not a match. Like
What did you say? Once a week? I'm
It's-
exhausted just listening to you. Go ahead.
like I just, that's an important, my number one love language is physical touch. So like,
Oh.
that's an important thing for me. And I have a really high sex drive. So if they don't, again, we're just probably not a match. I think because I'm also somebody who doesn't like to inconvenience my partner. Like I don't want somebody to do that because they feel obligated. You know what I mean? Like, or they feel like I need it. Like I want them to do it because they fucking want to rip my clothes off, not because they feel like they're supposed to because it's like that time. You know what I mean? So
Like this on a calendar.
yeah, exactly. And I don't want to have to slow down or curtail my natural desires. I mean, obviously life happens. Like sometimes people have a crazy week at work and like it just doesn't happen and you work around it. Like I'm not unreasonable, but like as a general, like everything going ideally, everything firing on all cylinders, if you're someone who's like, yeah, like once a week or twice a week, like I'm good, I'm gonna be too much for you. I'm gonna be pestering you. So it's just not a match. So that's one of them. Other deal breakers, someone who absolutely knew they did not want children is a deal breaker for me.
Because you want children.
Because I want, ideally, I think. It's not a hard, I'm not one of those people that's like, I was born to be a mother, and if I don't have children,
Is there do you feel a ticking clock? Is there something that's telling you, hey, I think I should get to this before rather than not get to
A
this?
little bit. I'm in my late 30s. So
Have you frozen your eggs?
I have not yet, but I am heavily considering it.
Yeah.
Oh, you've actually thought about it?
Well, I mean,
yes.
I mean, she
because
just said she's in her late 30s, so it's kind of.
So when I took my job, one of the things that sort of pushed it over the top, because I was looking at I was also being heavily recruited by the NSA at the time. And
You say you were being recruited by the NSA?
yes, to come work for them. They wanted to move to Hawaii and have them. They wanted me to design PowerPoints for government officials from Hawaii.
Interesting.
Okay.
Not a bad gig.
Yeah, no, not a bad gig. I mean, boring work-wise, but certainly the benefits and the pay were very good. And who can argue with Hawaii? But yeah. So one of the things at my current position is that they have a really good family planning benefit. They will cover as long as you're on their health insurance and you're a full-time employee. And it's different slightly if you like work in the park versus not. But like if you're full-time salaried, then they will cover a lot of those things within your benefits for free. And so that was a huge thing for me because it's very expensive, right? Not only to have it done, but also to maintain it, like to pay for rent essentially.
Right.
It gets very expensive.
Keep these eggs on ice.
Exactly. It runs about, I think about anywhere from like $10,000 to $20,000 for most people.
Shit.
Annually?
No. Over the entire.
Oh,
yeah, no, not annually. That's a lot of money, and
Sure.
And they will cover it for free. But yeah, it's something that I want to look into just because I think I'm a planner, so for me it makes sense. And I also don't want to. That's not a decision I rush into lightly. Like I kind of got into my career as it is a little bit later in life. I have things I want to do. I have places I want to travel. I don't want to have kids because I feel like I'm running out of time, but I do want to have kids. So if I can kind of put those suckers on ice for a little while, and I also don't want to rush into a relationship prematurely because I want kids, right?
Right.
And for me, I'm a like married first, kids second kind of person.
Would you ever consider doing it solo?
Yes, I would consider it. I've thought about it. My aunt did it solo. She's
Cool.
Three girls. She
3.
adopted all of them.
Good for her.
She adopted. Yeah, she has 3 little girls from China, and adopted them when she was in her 40s.
Wow. Dope.
She just
very nice.
really,
Well done.
yeah, she really wanted kids, and she really didn't want a relationship, and she had the financial means to be able to do that, and so she, my mom went to China with her to pick them up, and because everyone else had like their partner, right? So my mom went with her, and yeah, they're college age now. She's a badass. My aunt's amazing. But yeah, I've considered it for sure. I would prefer strongly to have a partner, mostly because I also care about I like my career. I think it would be really hard for me to balance how much I work with having kids on my own. Like, shout out to all the single moms, because I don't know how the fuck you do it. Like, I don't know if I would make that choice, but I definitely have considered it for sure. Yeah. So yeah, not being like not wanting kids at all would be probably. I don't know if it'd be like a hard, but it'd be really close. Like, I would have to really, really, really like a guy to consider that. You know. The only other deal breaker for me is if you you don't have to be Christian in order for me to date you. Like, I'm Christian, and it's important to me, but I don't care. I don't care. I don't say I don't care. I don't. It's not a deal breaker for me if my partner's not. But you have to be okay with the fact that I'm religious. I don't want to be with somebody who's going to sort of mock me going to church or mock my beliefs, especially if we have kids together. I generally don't date atheists because I have had that experience before. Not agnostics, that's totally different. And I have friends who are atheists, but maybe this is a hot take. For me, I have a lot of trouble wrapping my head around being atheist, because I don't care if you're the most well-traveled, worldly, well-read person on the face of the planet. You've still only seen a tiny fraction of the world, right? Just realistically, the world is a very big place and we are very small. And so I have a hard time wrapping my head around someone saying, I have seen 0.000 whatever percent of the world, and I have determined there's no possible way that there's a higher power. Not even like a tiny iota of a possibility. To me, that takes such a level of sort of hubris that I'm just not attracted to the person. That's not to say atheists are bad people and we just disagree, but to not be able to have that wiggle room of like, maybe I'm wrong. For me, it's problematic. What if you carry that attitude over into other things? Like, what if we get in an argument and you walk into a thing, there's no way I'm wrong. There's always a possibility you're wrong. You're human. I'm wrong frequently, right? And I want a partner who can admit that. So, yeah.
So you are saying because of their atheism, you think they're going to carry that same sort of like that muscle memory into
it's just
how their conduct.
But couldn't you argue the same way for somebody who's devout blindly?
Yes, absolutely. I would make the exact same argument for someone who does not question their faith. I question my faith all the time. I've had periods in my life where I wasn't even sure if I counted as Christian anymore, because I really wasn't doing much with it, and I question it all the time. And I think, frankly, if it's something anything in life that you're gonna take a stance on and say, like, this is part of who I am, this is how I present myself to the world, you should have done the homework to think about why you feel that way, right? And that counts for being super religious, and it counts for being super non-religious. To me, it's a personality difference. Like, I think being able to admit that you might be wrong. Such an important sort of just foundational relationship skill. And people who are blind have blind faith and don't question it and don't sort of analyze it, and people who have determined from their tiny little spot in the world that there's no way and it's impossible. It's just a personality and sort of life ethos mismatch, right? Again, I'm not saying they're bad people. I think I would have a lot of trouble with it.
Yeah, sure.
How about smoking?
I do not like smoking. It is not it's not a hard deal breaker, but it's definitely.
But it's the person you're going to be in the house with. You know what I mean? Let's say long-term relationship.
It would be one of those things where I would want them. I'm okay with someone who maybe vapes but is trying to quit. But yes, I would not long-term want someone to be a smoker. And I feel that way with. I mean, hard drug use, like regular hard drug use, is a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, well, yikes.
Right? Now, I don't care at all if you had a time in your past where that was a thing for you. Like, obviously, you know, I would want to kind of keep on top of it and make sure you didn't slip back into that lifestyle. I don't judge people for their past. I don't care how many people you've slept with. I don't care if you've done drugs in the past, like whatever. Like, there are certain things, obviously, if you like, you know, if you're a criminal, like, okay, we
Murder.
yeah, like, if you have an
Murder.
issue. But you know, people are people, and they evolve and they change over time, and people make mistakes, and I'm not perfect, and oh my god, I'm so imperfect. So, you know, am I going to judge you if it was part of your past? No. Will I judge you? Absolutely, if it's part of your current. Maybe I wouldn't judge you, but I don't want to be with you. And again, it's more about what that says about you. If you can't go to a concert and have a good time without indulging in drugs, then that tells me that you've got some work to do. If you need to disconnect in that way in order to have fun, then maybe you need to think about, you know, your lifestyle in general, right? And so other than the religion thing, I told you intellectual stimulation, physical compatibility, and the third one is high emotional EQ. Nobody's perfect. Everyone has trauma, but admit it and work on it. Don't hide from it. Don't
Yeah,
pretend
too
it
woke.
doesn't exist. Don't, you know, like,
Yeah, Mike.
No.
no, like, but do the work. You know what I mean? And I admit that's a big ask, because I tend to like fairly masculine, like classically masculine guys. And a lot of times they have trouble talking about their feelings because, let's be honest, society kind of fucked you all over with toxic masculinity. But you can have both. I have met people who have both. And that is a standard that it is a deal breaker for me. You know? Like, I want my hair pulled in the bedroom, but I also need you to be able to talk about your feelings. And if you can't do both, then we're not a match.
I'm not a fan of talking about my feelings. I don't lash out at others from not doing so, but I don't generally, unless there's something that needs to be said.
See, that's the difference. Because, like, I'm not saying you have to go blubbering your feelings to everybody and their mother, right? Like, I'm not saying you have to get on social media and talk about mental health. But if something was at a point where it was an issue, you would talk about it.
Yeah, no, of course. Because, you know,
Right.
if you're feeling overtly depressed, anxious, frustrated, whatever the emotion might be, it's important to convey that to your partner. Leaving them in the dark about that while
Right.
you know, lash out or deal
EQ
with it
and
in
maturity.
unhealthy ways. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
I'm not saying I want to be with a guy who comes crying to me every time he has a feeling. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, Circa says, tone it down, bitch.
no, but also
Exact words. It's in
I mean, pretty much, it's a direct quote.
the.
But you know, I'm somebody who very much, I come from a family where we talk about our feelings and working through things. I'm very transparent with all of my relationships. It's actually one of the things that guys notice first about me. I don't play games. I don't do the whole like, you should know why I'm mad about, like, why I'm mad at you. Like, that's childish.
Right.
If you're mad at your partner, first of all, you should probably have flagged whatever it is before you got to the point where you're actually mad at them. But I digress. If you're upset with them, don't expect them to read your mind. Like, tell them nicely and non-accusatorily, you know, what they did or what set of circumstances occurred that made you feel a certain way, and work through it like grown-ups. It's just not that hard. Communication and vulnerability is really, really important. So if you can't be emotionally transparent with me, if we can't talk about it, if you can't handle having big girl and big boy talks about our feelings, then I will absolutely be your friend and help you learn how to do that. But I'm not going to be your partner, at least not until you figured it out.
I like how self-aware you are. I like how deliberate and specific you are in what needs of yours must be met to have a partner.
Thank you. It has taken a lot of work and a lot of therapy. But to me, it's, I'm someone, and you know this, I'm like lawful good, and I very much have an innate, strong sense of fairness, right? And I don't think it is fair if I am with somebody and I truly love them and care about them. It isn't fair of me to not have any idea what I want because how the hell are they supposed to know what I want if I don't even know? Right? You can't get mad at people for not understanding shit that you never explained to them. If you don't give them the tools to understand it, if you never signal to them like, hey, this is how I am or how I'm wired, then how are they supposed to, like, they need a manual, kinda, right? And if you can't draft the manual yourself, then frankly, you have no business being in a relationship. Like, I'm not saying you have to be perfect and ready to go to be in a relationship, but you should have your shit relatively together within yourself, because it will keep you from falling into relationships that are not a good match for you, but like, oh, they're so hot, or oh god, the sex is amazing,
I'm
or
taking a
oh,
pee
the
break. I'll be right back.
amazing car. You know, like, if you really want to be long-term happy with somebody, certain things need to happen. And if you don't know what your definitions of those are and what are deal breakers for you, how the hell are you supposed to figure out who you're going to be with? It just doesn't make sense, you know? So I can be a
Unlike
giant.
Michael, I've been listening this entire time, Circa.
I talk a lot. You just have to interrupt, because otherwise I'll just keep going. It's how
I'm into it. Keep talking.
Yeah, and you caught me on my better mic, because I hadn't set up my any of my nicer mics until today. But
All right, so you're setting up these microphones. Is that a signal for something? Are you inbound with streaming again, or doing something that's stream or mic related? Or is that too far of a reach?
No, I mean I've been amping up my songwriting lately, and that requires better microphones. Because my songwriting partner actually lives out here, so that's been happening. I have considered, now that I'm not in grad school full time on top of being working full time, and I moved, because before I was like moving in grad school and I was also working. It was like insane, and dating. It was a whole thing. Now that things are a little more settled, I've considered going back to streaming. I miss it. I miss doing art, frankly. Like I do a lot of design work, but I don't do a lot of illustration in my job, and I miss it, you know. So I have considered doing that. As far as why I set them up this week, I have a presentation at work next week, and actually the audio is part of the presentation, because I'm giving a presentation to my team on the art of presentation and how to deliver things effectively, how to give a pitch and have people actually buy in. And so there's a whole part on sort of vocal tone and audio and things like that, because it matters. It's
right.
We've all sat in that meeting with someone who's like on their AirPods and they're fritzing out and they have like an annoying nasally voice, and it's just it's painful, right? And so so I wanted to make sure that it would be ill-advised for me to be like, this is how important audio is, and then have like terrible audio.
So it's primarily for that, but you could see yourself sort of in an ancillary capacity turning it into something else. Songwriting, work-related, potentially streaming.
Maybe. XLR mic. Yes, it is an XLR mic. This is actually a cheap, like Chinese, like it's a knockoff of the Shure MX7 or whatever, their new podcasting mic. And I was just trying it out because it was on sale, and honestly, I think it doesn't sound as good as my Shure, but it sounds pretty darn good. So
that's also got a good to do with your voice, young lady.
Oh, thank you so much. I get that frequently. Even at work, it was so funny. Like I was in a meeting and someone was like, I could just listen to you talk for like hours. I was like, thank you. That's a huge compliment coming from you. You have like the golden voice. So
this is definitely the mic doing the heavy lifting. I promise you. If I jump on a USB mic, it sounds like I've sucked on a balloon of helium.
I am hard pressed to believe that's accurate, but I mean the mic does make a difference, right? And it's amazing how much I think people, and this is part of what I'm going to talk about in my presentation, but people think like, this is my voice, it is how it is, I can't change it, right? So much of that you can change just with internal control, vocal control. And my voice when I'm just talking and shooting the shit with my friends is a little bit different than when I hop on a mic or even like if you and I were on a private like voice call in Discord, I would probably sound slightly differently than I do now because I'm aware that I'm on something that's being broadcast, and so my voice shifts slightly. And it's
You ever
almost-
heard Mike in real life? It's
I have
it's
not.
like nails on a chalkboard. It's awful. He's subhuman when he's talking in real life. He's also 7 feet tall, so he talks right over me. You know what I mean? Like the sound waves go right over my head. I am like 4'8", and he's 6'2". Talks right over me.
Hi, hello,
I
John.
hear him in echoes primarily, but it's the voice that you hear coming out of his setup there is
Yeah.
so manufactured. It's so fake. He doesn't sound like that.
It's a facade.
When he comes back, you can ask him about it.
It's all a lie. I've
It
never
is.
met Michael in person. I actually was like kind of bummed we didn't get a chance to meet before I moved out to the West Coast because now, of course, we're a lot further apart. But,
Oh, that opportunity to present itself again, I'm sure.
we'll see. I don't know. Maybe one of these days the crew will convince me to finally go to a con. I've never been to one.
You've never been to a convention?
No, never.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That is not, and don't take this as a slight, but I've been realizing lately that it's not unique to you, especially when it comes to the people that hang out here. I just kind of took it for granted that it's like, oh, you hang out at oh gosh, I'm giving him way too much credit, but like a comic book centric,
Mm-hmm.
stream, and then learning that a lot of people have not been to conventions before. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think for me, I definitely have always been kind of into nerdy things, but I was more into like high fantasy and that kind of side of things. Harry Potter, and then also like just Tolkien and like class, that kind of stuff, and video games, but I never really hit the comic book side of things, or even like anime, things like that, until I was older.
What is it? Was there a preventative? Was just like general interest, or was there something where you go like, the barrier to entry of that is just not for me?
I think, well, one, I don't think it was nearly as sort of cool to be a nerd when I was younger. I mean, I'm old, so like, now I feel like nerd culture is kind of taken on wings, and it's like suddenly cool to be a nerd. Definitely was not when I was, and there were sort of levels of acceptable nerdiness, right? So like liking fantasy and liking Harry Potter was perfectly fine. Liking anime was going to get you, more sort of disdain from people. So
That's not unique to then. That's still happening now.
it does, but I think it's gotten slightly better. And I think it's also, as our world becomes more connected, you have places like Twitch or whatever where you can find other people who are also into that. So you're not like alone in it. So for me, I think I just such hip rhetoric. I try, John. I try. Yeah, I think
Is John Moore in chat?
Yeah, he's in chat.
I despise that. Human beings. Continue.
I mean, he is vaguely despicable, but we love him
I
anyway.
felt the shift. You want to talk about like, what was the primary things that like attracted you to your potential partners? Was like intellectual something, right?
Yes.
Clearly I was listening.
Yes, intellectual.
There was a dip in that. As soon as John walked in the chat, I heard the door creak open, and I thought like, uh-oh, that's a weird feeling.
Oh, you felt it.
It got noticeably dumber in here.
You felt that old pervert take hold.
Curly-haired, international pedophile watch list. Can you get in trouble for me saying pedophile now the 3 times?
I mean, you missed us talking about BDSM and kink extensively, so I think if this stream
But
is gonna
see, Twitch/YouTube has a very specific set of no-no language.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's one of them. Michael, is that one of them? Did I just get you into trouble?
Either way, it's too late now. Can't unring that bell.
the ship had failed.
This is true. But what you're saying is like, can I continue to say it, or is it something
go
like
nuts.
Eric, don't say that anymore?
Listen, if we're talking about John Moore, you got it. You have carte blanche.
Austin Powers, I can't, DOG.
He's Asian. He's the Asian Austin Powers. John Moore. Well, he's got the curly hair. How are John's teeth? I've never witnessed his teeth. Anybody in here?
What the fuck is that question?
How are they, Circa?
How are
Have you seen
John's
them?
teeth?
Yeah. How they is, girl?
John, how do you look in a purple like velvet suit?
Yeah.
John, how would you describe your teeth? Is I think what Mike's trying to get at.
John, show me your tooth, please.
Your tooth? This is one
That's-
tooth.
Just the one.
Just one singular. It's
John-
John Snagglemore.
Yeah. John, show me the tooth. I want the whole
One
tooth,
in your-
nothing but the
one
tooth.
in your pocket as you keep as a keepsake from that time you hunted humans
Yep.
for sport.
John
Oh my
John
God.
takes it out of his pocket, he blows on it, he rubs it on his lapel, and then shows it to me.
His velvet purple lapel, and is like, look.
There's because it's the
Here-
gold
here you
tooth. The
Yeah. It's the very same gold tooth they used in Home Alone. That's John's tooth.
that's a good reference, Paul.
That is. That's a deep cut.
Well done.
You can't handle the tooth, says Caspa. Hello, Caspa. I'm glad
I love
that
how John's like, you guys are stupid.
John being here has completely derailed the very intelligent conversation you guys were having.
See what I mean? Like, if there was a noticeable dip.
Yeah.
John
He is
walked in
he-
here talking with his butt cheeks like Ace Ventura.
Come on. John, were you
John-
talking with your butt cheeks? Confirm.
I mean,
He was
that's
talking
quite
in
the entirety of
he
it.
was talking in Tagalog with his butt cheeks.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sorry. I swear that
You're so dumb.
Yeah,
Not because you really are, but because I pictured that in my head and it's hilarious.
I'm like scrolling up to see if I missed anything in chat. Oh, Two Woke says I would sound more sensual in private. That is
Oh
not
boy.
that is not wrong, depending on the context.
Under the coffee stains and nicotine under the coffee stains and nicotine tar, you could see a tooth sometime.
Just like a little. Okay, but here's the question.
I
like,
love that John's fucking labeled
much
his teeth as like he's a prospector from the old west. He's got those baked bean teeth.
Ew.
And when he talks, he whistles through his front tooth.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
God. They wear like the big floppy hat and overalls, you know?
Yeah. He needs to show us where the gold is buried.
Oh no. Why am I mentally picturing this? Like,
Why were
what-
there no Filipinos in Red Dead Redemption 2? It's the better question. John, what about the representation?
You should write
They
a strong,
never made it over, I think.
strongly
Picked
worded.
them off the boat.
When did the first Filipino land?
Are you typing that in?
No,
Are you looking that up?
in my brain I just said it.
No, you said it with your mouth too. I heard it.
Oh. So see, sometimes it slips through. Hang on. First, I'm just gonna type in first American
See,
Filipino.
now you're definitely looking it up now.
John will be in Red Dead 3. Did you guys know the mullet is back for women and men?
I didn't know for women. I knew it was back for men, and I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, it's crazy because like
What do you think that is? What is it? Convenience? Is it like, what is
Like-
it? Is it refreshing to?
well, we all know 10 years ago, all those young men, they went like Hitler Youth haircut, real short on the sides, kind of swept to the right or left and parted. You know,
Mm.
that was the
Could've found a better
overwhelming.
descriptor, but continue.
Yeah, that was like where you saw everywhere. Every dude was rocking that cut. You know, the fade and the longer on top. Now,
No.
mullets. You know, my woman was watching The Bachelorette. My woman was watching The Bachelorette, and I think one of the dudes that made it to the end, one of the contestants that made it to the very end, mullet, fucking just like not even a fade on the side, just gone on the sides, and then just fucking long on top, and just it kept all the way to the very bottom. Then I come in, she's watching Survivor. Sure enough, dude with
Another
the
mullet?
exact same haircut and another mullet in the mix.
Not the same dude.
Not the same dude. They actually look almost identical. And then so I
Because
typed
of the
in,
mullet, or
you know what? I typed in Google. I said, the mullet is back, and sure enough, dude, the first hit was Men's Health, a Men's Health article, and it was like, hey, the mullet's back, baby. And the second article was a Vogue article saying, hey, ladies, the mullet is back. And there was a bunch of girls with like, you know, it was kind of bangs and kind of choppy in front, and then kind of elongated in the back.
So you're saying it's not gender unique. It's coming back
Yeah.
for women.
Of all the
Was
things
it
that
ever
Gen
in
Z
for women?
Well, I mean, back in the day, if you wanted that like kind of Joan Jett look, you could have rocked it, you know.
I see what you're saying.
But I mean, no. Listen, the Gen Z decided that of all the things they could bring back, the mullet.
That was it.
We're going mullet.
Please don't.
Not like a healthy, like income or just bring back mullet.
Alaman says this is retro fashion that's become stylish. I swear, a quarter of the guys at my college have the '80s curly hair / mullet and mustache. What a look!
Oh, I
What
wish
a
they'd
look!
bring that back.
Oh man.
There are a lot of, and I used to think, like, when I was like swiping through apps and I was seeing these guys with like just the mustache,
Mhm.
like what I think of as, like the creepy guy at the club or like the 80s porno mustache. I'm like, why? Like, you've got to be joking. Like, this must be a meme, but there's enough of them that I think it's actually a trend. It's like, it's actually.
Now, is it? Do you think it's working? It's not working for you, clearly. Doesn't sound
no,
like.
But I suspect that's also because like I already have an association with that style, right? Like I grew up, I'm old, right? So like, if I were much younger, maybe it would work. I mean,
Right, because it would be kind of like your first experience with somebody with a porn stash or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like normal. It's like you grow up and that's what's cool when you're growing up. So you're like, oh, that's fine, or whatever. I mean, like how many people had like crushes on what's his name, Tom Selleck or whatever? Like, he had that mustache, because it was new when he was doing it, right? And it wasn't
Dave Tran
like
had it.
It wasn't creepy and like porno-esque at that time, but like for me, it is. I have that association, so I'm not a fan. I also like. There's also things I just like. Crocs. Why are Crocs popular again?
Oh, you know what, dude?
Crocs popular?
Crocs have
Oh my
made
God,
it into the mainstream.
no.
Dude, every
They're
chef,
so-
every
chef
medical
has had that. Though.
Yeah, every-
but now
worker
it's more. There are lots of service workers who wear that. Even went to the doctor, the nursing staff, even the doctors themselves. I've seen rocking Crocs, no problemo. That's how they roll.
I went to Disneyland last week because a friend was in from the East Coast and wanted to go, and I was like, I'll take you because it doesn't cost me anything. And but like every store in Disney was selling Crocs and the little like, what are they called, gibbets, the little charms that like go on the Crocs.
Charms? I didn't know they had style.
Yeah,
I didn't know you could stylize it.
You know how Crocs have like holes in them for ventilation?
Sure.
They make
for aerodynamics.
Yes, exactly. They make like little charms that fit through that hole and like have a backing so it stays there. It's like a pin, but for your Crocs, and people like collect them. And I don't know, but they in every store, like they had Halloween Crocs, they had Mickey Crocs and Minnie, and I was like, why are these a thing?
John has he just slipped his Crocs into athlete mode.
What do you do?
He put the little flipper on the back of his Achilles heel.
To hold the heel in.
Yeah.
It's all funny, but I suspect you're going to end up buying some, Michael.
John leaves his Crocs on when he makes love to his wife for the for the grip and for the kink.
It's not for the grip. Oh my God, that's not it.
Yeah, he's got little treads at the bottom for the grip.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. Crocs are comfortable, but like, to me, they're only should be worn for like gardening or like if you have a profession, like you're a chef, right? Where you're on your feet a lot and like, whatever. Like, just as mainstream fashion accessories, and also people are wearing them with socks, which I'm like, why? Why are you wearing like white tube socks and Crocs?
Don't rip on John's fashion style.
Well, I mean, John pulls it off.
He does because
John,
he wears those. John wears those.
on.
He wears the socks that have his own face all over them. And the face he's making is disgusting. It's where you put the peace sign, but it's two fingers, and you put them between your lips, and you start sticking your tongue out. That's the face that John's making on his socks.
That's not the.
No, it's very provocative.
Also,
he's moving units.
They're selling like hotcakes.
Selling out every month.
Oh my God. I'm just looking at John's last comment, and I just, wow, John.
Dave Tran had a porn stash, but it wasn't on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had the John Waters pubes.
You guys are gross.
Well, I didn't read it out loud. John said it. Mike read it out loud.
John, There's a lady in the room. Be nice.
He's like, it's Circa. She doesn't count. But yeah, no, I mean, the whole like mom jeans and like Crocs and
It's all coming back, huh?
all coming back. Even like jellies are coming back, and I'm like, why? Those were horrible. Don't ever wear those. Like, they'll just give you blisters. But it's a thing now, you know. Skinny
What
jeans
do you
are
think
out.
that is? Is it because there's just everything old is new again, or is it something else?
I mean, it's all on a cycle, right? So like,
Yeah.
because
No
now
time in history are people wearing like what were people wearing back in the day? Like clogs? Does that come back?
I mean, I don't know. Time to bring back snap bracelets. Yes, please. But I mean, I do feel like that happens, like, and it follows a predictable pattern. I mean, like, it was 90s, and now like it was kind of like 80s fashion was back for a while. 70s has come back again. So like flare jeans are really big this season, and a lot of those same colors, like all the mustard yellows and avocado greens, like are really really big this season. I think it's only a matter of time before like 50s, 40s, 50s, which is fine by me because I love that era of fashion. But like, yeah,
Mike's gonna bring back Junko jeans, like jeans that are.
Oh my god! Do you know Jinko jeans are still around?
No,
That comes-
No, I didn't know that.
Yes,
But by the way, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but young ladies, I don't know about young dudes, but young ladies are wearing giant baggy pants and crop tops.
That's not true.
That is
That is
no,
like my
that is
childhood.
that is the fashion
Oh, yeah.
sense.
that's a thing. But yeah, here, drop the. They're still in business.
Here, I want to show you guys. Oh, shit, what was I going to show you? This. Jinko. Oh, Jinko jeans back. I want to show you guys a photo of Dave Tran.
Do you think Dave Tran has like a voodoo doll of you, Mike, and he stabs it every time you make fun of him?
This is Dave Tran with his art mentor.
There he is. He's busting out the voodoo doll now.
Art mentor / slave owner, Dave Tran's friend.
Did you just say slave owner?
He
You're gonna
did.
get in trouble.
Art Adams. He's got a checkered past. Listen. At the Adams plantation, everybody gets
Listening.
treated fairly.
John.
Dave Tran works in the house, is what I'm saying. Here's an interesting tidbit about Filipino American history. Filipino sailors were the first Asians in North America. The first documented presence of Filipinos is what is now the United States, dates back to October 1587, around Morro Bay, California, with the first permanent settlement in Louisiana in 1763. The settlers
in Louisiana, Filipinos went to Louisiana.
in 1763, they didn't just go there. They created a permanent settlement there, and they were actually referred to as the Manila Men. They served in the Battle of New Orleans during the closing stages of the War of 1812, etc., etc. So yeah, Filipinos first Asians in North America, which is pretty fucking badass. All right, fuck yeah. In the fucking 1500s, baby. The fucking 16th century.
Oh my goodness. John, I'm still serving in the Battle of New Orleans.
Art Adams' wife is Asian. Well, his wife is Dave Tran. Dan Frager worked at Jenko. He says it was the inmates running the asylum. Dave looking tall these days. Vintage Shenkos are going for monies. I'm still serving in the Battle of New Orleans. Oh, that's why John's the Manila Man. Actually, John notoriously hates Manila, if I remember correctly.
Davis. Yo, gee. Oh my goodness. But how have you guys been? I haven't talked to you guys in forever, particularly you, Eric. I haven't talked to you in a hot minute.
Yeah, Eric.
He's like, I'm not really here.
He probably had stuff that needed taken care
Oh
of.
yeah, no. He's a busy guy. How are you doing, Mike? Like, again, it's been a hot minute.
Nothing to report. Still doing the usual nonsense, drawing and getting better at that. I've been posting on TikTok.
Oh,
that's
okay.
a little new, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't think I follow you on TikTok. I'm gonna have to look for you.
You know what? I haven't looked at my TikTok numbers in quite some time. I just post there. I do my best to ignore as many metrics as I can. I'm at 8,200 TikTok views.
Nice.
I'm creeping up on Instagram. Creeping towards 900 followers on Instagram. I did, however, recently get I posted a meme where the dude was making a joke, and it was a photo of some slot machines and a person losing, and the meme was, I don't know how you guys do it. I just lost $5 at the casino and I want to burn this place down. And Instagram flagged that for promotion of violence.
Wow.
Which is, and I disputed it. I'm like, this is clearly a fucking joke. And they were like, no, this isn't the right. And then they tried to bust me for posting a Hello Kitty meme. And I fought that, and they were like, oh, this was taken down in error. We've reestablished it. But I'm pretty sure that Instagram still has fucked me in regards to who they show my stuff to.
I mean, you completely reset at one point, didn't you?
I did. I reset because of that very same problem. I had broken, like, I think I got like 10 or 12 community violations. I mean, over a several year time frame, but they had definitely completely curbed my growth and curbed my exposure on the platform. So I started a new one. And I've been very... Wait,
like, don't they have to report you?
Well, because I don't believe so, because this one was posted almost a year ago, maybe 9 months ago, the meme that they found, and it was a story, and the story had long since disappeared from the platform. So somebody would have had to report it 9 months ago when it was up for the 24 hours. I have a feeling that Instagram that it's an algorithm thing. They picked it up. There's probably a word that they didn't like in there. And they had it removed, which sucks. Because I've been very deliberate on what I do not share on the platform for that reason, to kind of not get in trouble. But I had no idea that something as innocuous as a joke like that would garner trouble. Yeah, so TikTok has got me too. TikTok, I posted the same kind of art that I post on Instagram and YouTube. That might be a little bit more risque, a little bit more salacious. No full nudity, but maybe perhaps a little, slightly titillating image. TikTok, whereas the other platforms are okay with that. TikTok is very conservative in that regard. In regard to anything that even can be remotely viewed as sexual in nature.
Yeah, they are. They definitely take it a little more.
It's
they're a little more hardcore about
probably because the CCP owns the fucking thing, more or less.
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
Conservatively sending your data to China. I mean, what is my phone about?
TikTok, the House of Thottery. Conservatine. Dave is secretly Joyce Chin. Yes, he is. He's Dave Joyce Chin. Dave Joyce, that's his name.
I haven't talked to Dave in a hot minute either.
He's around. You were here for his divorce, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fun times.
I knew about it, I think, before it was sort of public knowledge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't talked to him. I'm trying to think the last time we talked was on Instagram, I think. Maybe? Like we had an Instagram combo. But it's been a hot minute. It's been well over a year. Because he doesn't stream anymore, so.
No, he hides. He released an art book that I want to get, but it's I feel like it costs a shocking amount of money to be delivered to America. I'd rather just drive there again.
About it. but
TikTok, a hive of scum and villainy. It's $45 Canadian.
oof, that is not cheap.
Hey, there it is. John posted it.
Cute,
Dave's
John.
Dave's art book.
Why did you whisper that? Like it's a secret.
It is a secret. Dave sent me a photo of a gal we both know on Instagram who posted a photo of her in lingerie, which is her kind of what she sells, right? That's kind of her jam. However, it's kind of sheer lingerie, not fully sheer, but her pubes are like just bursting out of them undies. He called them tendrils. He said, "Mike, look at these tendrils. Somebody needs a shave." And they were quite they were heavy, man. Like it's pretty unruly bush, dude. It was those pubes are really peeking out of either side of those undies. And I wonder if that's a fashion trend. John, care to comment? Fashion trend?
I don't know. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, you know, yeah. Speaking of thottery, did you hear that Nefox lost her name to someone else? I heard there was a woman that was going to sue her for it. So she changed it to something else. I forget what it was changed to. I mentioned that like 2 weeks ago. There it is. Yoji found it. Yoji knows what's up. For a while, it was Indie Foxy. I would just go with Indie Fox with 3 X's. Now it's Gen Fox. Gen Fox. I wonder how she's doing. I wonder how she's doing on the old sites. You know? I wonder how she's holding up over there. Because she was crushing it back when she was on Twitch before, you know, she left. She must be doing okay since she hasn't lost her house. Her multi-million-dollar house? No. No, she hasn't. She needs to come back to Twitch. It's been long enough. Do you think she'd still be banned? I mean, Twitch does unban people. I mean, so it could be possible. You know, like I mean, people who've done worse have been unbanned. So I can't see why she wouldn't be. Going to interesting seeing all the Twitch gamblers lose their sponsors. I heard that as far as Twitch and gambling was concerned, the only thing that's getting banned is the sites. The one site, what the hell is it called? Sliders, Slaughters, Slave, Steve, something like that. Yeah, I heard that it was just that one site. That one slot machine, Stake. Yeah, I heard was the website that was being banned. But they were gonna allow other aspects of it. Now, now out of curiosity, why did they not want this on the platform? Like, why did they allow it on the platform and then not allow it? I know there was that one dickhead. I know that one dickhead was stealing from people. But that's not everybody, right? That's you know, that one piece of shit that was doing it. I don't get the appeal of people who just stream slots. There were some big streamers who made an issue. Oh, it was Pokimane and a bunch of other. I saw that part. Pokimane and others made an issue. Also, no more gambling affiliate links. Pretty much the only thing not banned is poker and sports betting. The guy who ripped off people for 380K just lost his partnership and subs. I'm of the mindset that if you're allowing hot tub streams and, you know, bikini streams and whatever else, body painting streams, why not? Why not allow slot machines or whatever the hell else? The guy who ripped people off was doing sports betting. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, it's still allowed on the platform. Yeah. So also, isn't it a little weird that they're like, oh no, you could bet on sports, and you could bet on gambling in regards to poker. Yeah, that's fine. Poker's fine. No, I haven't seen the Cyberpunk show yet. Is it anime, John Amore? Also, they said any site/company that isn't based in the US and its territories can't sponsor or advertise on Twitch. I mean, that's fair to me. Sounds fair to me, rather. I haven't seen it yet. I said this the other day, I finished Primal. I couldn't think of the name. I finished Primal. So I'm ready to start the Blade Runner one. Maybe I'll try to watch it with the lady. Maybe the lady might be into the Blade Runner stuff. I don't know. It might not be her cup of tea. I did start watching Andor. I watched the first 2 episodes of Andor. It's slow, not boring. I do enjoy the world, though. I really do enjoy the world building that's happening over there. I'm studying that story structure. If Miskiff doesn't get canceled, that will be a surprise. Why would Miskiff get canceled? What did he do? I'm outside of the Twitch drama loop. He covered up SA. Covered it up. What were the wait? What happened? A Twitch streamer's covering up at fucking assault allegations? Cover this up. Nobody can know. Nobody speak a word of this to the press. One of his friends, he helped cover it up. Please be more specific. What do you mean? What do you mean? First off, what are the allegations? What was the crime, and how in fact did he cover it up? Because those are it's very vague. He was involved in a cover-up. He obstructed justice. His friend allegedly committed assault, and then he pressured the girl to keep it quiet. He touched the girl's boob when she was drunk at a party. That's the rumor. So I'm assuming there are eyewitnesses that say this happened. And then Miskiff pressured her to say that nothing happened. I mean, that's fucked. If it happened. Are there multiple eyewitnesses? Is there any evidence to it? If she was drunk, does she know what happened? Were they alone? I mean, if it's true, by all means, that's completely fucked. I mean, if it happened, and he was like, shut the fuck up about it. It didn't happen. You're making it up. Eyewitnesses, allegedly. There are supposedly witnesses, but I guess they were complicit. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This sounds like a fucking, to me, it sounds like a nothing sandwich. It sounds like, I mean, if he did it, the guy's a piece of shit. But also, if he did it, why didn't it go into, like, is Miskiff so powerful? Anyway, also, why didn't anybody go to, wait, oh God. I'm in my head, I'm trying to think. let's say somebody does that. Let's say you're at a party and some scumbag fondles you against your wishes and your will, which is, you know, which is assault. What are the, I'm trying to think, what are the appropriate actions when that happens? As far as like, this person just assaulted you. Do you go to the police? I'm genuinely curious. Yeah, do you go to the cops? Like, if his friend was out of line, just apologize, don't pressure, change your story. It really depends on the jurisdiction. I mean, the first part is, did it really happen, right? How many witnesses saw it happen? I mean, or were there any witnesses that would testify under oath that this happened? And lots of different ways to handle it illegally. I mean, this is way out of anything I'm aware of. I mean, listen, I've definitely had gay guys grab me, personally, at bars and such. Not that that makes it an excuse, but call John Amore. He's going to study law. I think it did happen if they went to all the effort to get the girl to change her story. I mean, and that's the fucking part that's crazy, right? Some girl was groped while she was drunk. People saw it, and then Miskiff is like, Can she prove that he strong-armed her into changing her story? But also, it's fucking Miskiff. What, did he like physically threaten her? Like, what's the cover-up specifically? We know what the allegations are now, and it's fucked if it's true. But yeah, no, if you're at a bar somewhere, or you're out and about at a party and somebody gropes you inappropriately, and you're like, hey, this person groped me inappropriately, Miskiff's like, no, they didn't. He was Irisi. He was going to. She has DMs, I think. Basically, we're big streamers and we'll blacklist you if you don't change your story. That's the rumor. Twitch streamers Miskiff and Maya accused of covering up allegations. Just like, I don't know who either of these people are. Is Miskiff the fat guy? The, you know, the chubbier guy with the beard? Is that what Miskiff looks like? I don't watch. Miskiff claimed Trainwreck should be banned as Twitch gambling feud gets personal. We're going to platform people for scamming others. Shouldn't we have banned you for Joltcoin a few years back? Are you going to send Maya and Mitch to railroad and blackmail me like you did those girls? Were there multiple girls? Hang on. Ice Poseidon, that cunt. Are you all in the RV? No, we are on the road. I don't know what's going on anymore. I just want to drink. This guy's wow. Racial slur against Hispanic people. Keep it on the DL. What you want food-wise? Whatever. Oh my god, dude. 2018. There's an N-word with a hard R in the car. Can you stop being an F-word, F-slur against gay people and pay me? Don't ever say that to me again. F-A-G. Oh, I'm reading this. I'm reading this, Ice Poseidon decided to share his private messages between him and Miskiff. The first tweet is, you letting this slide for years says a lot about you as well. Right, because let's be honest, he clearly knew Ice Poseidon clearly knew about all this, and Ice Poseidon chose this specific moment to save these DMs and bring them to light when he could have, you know, over the last 5 years or more. He's been busy with rug pulling. My experience with Crazy Slick, and this is from Adriana Lee. I have no idea who she is, besides a Twitch partner. Miskiff apology. Taking a phone call. My experience with Crazy Slick, Adriana Lee. Oh my god. Or I never thought I'd be making. Yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna show you guys the screen this way. I don't know. I'm just not reading this to you. On January 19th, 2020, I went to Novaru's 21st birthday, partly because blah 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 blah. I got very intoxicated, blacked out. I was told that I was kissing my best friend Anna and another one of my close friends at the time consensually. Crazy Slick was following us around trying to kiss her, and at one point I was told that he and I ended up kissing. Then apparently I was passed out in one of the rooms at a party. He came into the room while I was unconscious. He came into the room a couple times after being asked to leave me alone each time. In two of those instances, he touched my neck and chest, saying he was just making sure I was alive. Listen, baby, I need to finger you to make sure you're still breathing. After being assured by my friends that I was okay and they were watching over me, whether or not his intention was genuine, I don't know. To be clear, he did not rape me or assault me, but his actions did make me uncomfortable. All I can say is how I feel after the story. Blah, 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 blah. As for Nova, she blocked me before today for whatever reasons. I don't know who Nova is. I don't care particularly. But is this I don't know what this is, dude. This is from July 2021. That's the old statement. There's a new statement. Nobody really cares about what happened. Yeah, that's the statement where they got her to change her story. Dude, I don't give a shit, man. In the new one, she says that what, he fucking went to town on her, or he's just fucking finger blasting her in her sleep or something. Misgift said they asked Slick to vacate their house. She didn't consent. Basically, he was trying. He wasn't trying to check up on her. I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you. It all sounds like bullshit to me, dude. Like all of it, the whole thing. It sounds like nonsense. I am curious as to see what Twitch does with all this. Is he worth the money for Twitch for them to go to bat for him or cut him loose? Well, here's the deal, man. What it like... I don't know, man. It's all... It just seems like internet allegations. Banzi says, nobody really cares about what happened. Banzi. Banzi cares about this. He's just trying to play it cool. You need any fucks to invite you to the cool influencer parties? Oh god, could you imagine? So I can get groped? So I could get groped while I'm taking a nap? Wake up, there's some dude fondling my balls. And then I'm like, hey, I'm reporting you to Twitch. This can't stand. And then another Twitch streamer comes and says, no you won't. You'll shut your mouth, or else. Shh, let it happen. I'll give you a tier 3 sub. No, but seriously though, when it comes to this kind of shit, man, I'm not ready to just believe any old allegation just out of hand. I'm not saying she's lying. I'm not saying it didn't happen. But just, there's, over the last handful of years, there have been so many allegations. Some real, some baseless. Where, yeah, no, man. I've learned my lesson to not just blindly side with the accusatory party. Because you know, that's how the cookie crumbles. That's how the internet goes. Not that I give a shit about this other dickhead at all. For all I know, he's exactly what they say he is, and he's a scumbag who fucking waits for women to be drunk and then, you know, have his way with them. The person I mod for is friends with a bunch of these people. That's the only reason I'm even aware of this. It came up on the usual, you know, it made it. I've seen this stuff on the old YouTube feed. You know, it's because it's Twitch nonsense. So if you're on Twitch or you stream or you're a content creator that is in the sphere at all, you know, it arises. But I don't know, man. I heard about the gambling stuff. I heard about the guy who ripped off a bunch of people. And I knew there was misgift drama. But no, man, you know what, dude? It leaves, I'll be honest with you, man, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth that this person made allegations, downplayed those allegations years, you know, a couple of years ago or a year ago, then later returns to those allegations, changes them again, and then says, oh, no, I was coerced from a Twitch streamer to changing these to something else. I don't know, man. It all sounds real wacky to me. Allegedly, some girls have had bad experience with Azan, but no one has come forward yet. That's the rumor I've heard. I don't know what it says about me, but I find it really hard to care about Twitch drama. No, I think a lot of people are on board. Perhaps if you were in that community, or perhaps if I spent more time watching large Twitch streamers, I'd be you know, just as inclined to kind of be caught up in this stuff, but I'm not. I don't know these people. I've never even seen a photo of Miskiff before this. I don't know who the girl is. I don't know who the guy who's being accused is. I think they live together, clearly, because I read the first line of Miskiff's thing. And he's like, I've asked him to leave. And that's that's the other thing. These fucking assholes, they all live together in the same house. It's a stream house. We live together. We all live together and we stream together. And then sometimes when one of us is drunk, one of us gets groped. Streamer house is basically just a tax write-off. You know, it's all wacky, dude. It's all wacky. It's all weird. And dude, Twitch is a platform. It just doesn't seem like it's all it's cracked up to be anymore. There is this Pokimane interview on a podcast I enjoy. She said, in stream houses, no one cleans up because they're all divas. I believe that. I'm surprised there isn't a maid because they all make so much fucking money. Oh look, hang on, I found a clip. Somebody posted this clip. Maybe this will change your mind, John Amore.
Whatever. At a low of what you can deem of it, it's sexual harassment, whatever. At a low scale, it's not really a big deal. I don't think people really gave a shit and really cared. I'm gonna turn this off if you're gonna be like this. I'll just turn it off. Of what you can deem of it, it's sexual harassment, whatever. At a low scale, it's not really a big deal. I don't think people really gave a shit and really cared. I'm I'm gonna turn this off if you're gonna be like.
Interesting. Who the fuck recorded that? Oh, that's hilarious. I mean, that does kind of, listen, does that not give him up a little bit? Yeah, it's sexual harassment, but it's not that bad. Nobody gives a shit. You got in trouble for that. That's definitely going to get you canceled. I mean, it definitely doesn't fucking bode well for him. I mean, imagine any other kind of allegation. You just shot at him a couple of times. Nobody cares. Look at this, says John Moore. What am I looking at, baby? Timestamped. Timestamped at 226 seconds.
Let's journey over to the Philippines. This is called balut. What is balut? Are you gonna say no? It's like a soft boiled egg.
Oh, is that balut?
God!
That shit is so disgusting. Lord have mercy, I missed it. What the fuck was that? I'm gonna vomit. They say it's delicious. Oh, this guy's freaking out.
Because I'm French and I have enjoyed foie gras before, where you specifically fatten up a duck so much until it's unable to move and then you harvest its liver, which is very inhumane.
Yeah, no, Tuvok, I'm curious, man. You let me know how this all goes down. Because I am curious. I'm not curious enough to actually like give a shit about anybody involved, but I am curious as to what Twitch is going to do. Because let's be honest, the last few years on Twitch, I feel like Twitch has been circling the drain. They decided to promote, listen, you reap what you sow, right? A platform like Twitch, it's small. It's 100 times smaller than YouTube. Or rather, their audience is 100th the size of YouTube's. And so again, tiny by comparison. Now, the other thing is, Twitch has kind of leaned into these streams, these creators who are, I don't want to say they're scumbags, but you know, you have gambling, NFT rug pulls, you have, you know, man, streams where, you know, pretty salacious girls in hot tubs, girls in lingerie. So Twitch has kind of turned the platform into this place. Twitch has turned the platform into this place full of, it's like, you know, you're inside the pleasure area of the city. You know, you're walking through Times Square in 1975. It's like, yeah, here are the ladies on the corner. Yeah, you want to get some illicit gambling in? You want to play a legal poker game? So Twitch is like, they're creating an environment for ne'er-do-wells to thrive in. People, you know, so when you start promoting, when the most popular streams are gambling streams and thirst trap streams, and this is the audience that you are specifically going after and encouraging growth in. I mean, like I said earlier, you reap what you sow. This is Twitch is kind of becoming, you know, a hive of scum and villainy on the internet. You know, which if that's how you want to roll, right? Fine by me. But as far as the audience, that shows up is concerned, you're getting to get an audience that is into gambling, into watching fine bitches in the pool, right? Into causing all kinds of drama. Because the other thing is like, all right, yeah, whenever it comes to like what Twitch is known for, when it comes to what Twitch is known for on the internet outside of itself, it's not good. Anytime you hear of Twitch news, it's not like, oh my God, they just created this new thing. It's bad stuff. Twitch is known for bad things. You know, them not being able to pay their partners anymore, them giving up the 30-70 split, which by the way is a reasonable split. No more Ninja News. Yeah. Them embracing, you know, it was never kid friendly. But them embracing creators whose, you know, bread and butter is stuff that's more illicit. Then, you know, what happens? You scare away advertisers. You scare away content creators that don't want to deal with an audience like that. Yeah, it gets pretty rough pretty quick. And it seems like Twitch is into it. Like it or not. They tried for a short while to promote themselves as a gaming platform back when Fortnite was a thing. Right. Yeah, no, Banzy, there was a big jump in what Twitch was during the Justin TV days and what it became when they kind of cleaned up their act. Or at least they tried to. But now it seems like they've gone back into I don't know, degeneracy. But we'll see. I'm fine with degeneracy. However, you got to know that's going to change your platform. It's going to change the demographics of the people that watch your platform. It's going to change the demographics of the creators that want to continue on your platform. And if the sign of Twitch streamers fleeing the platform and migrating over to platforms like YouTube is any indication of what's to come, it would seem like Twitch is continuing to be on a downward spiral. I wouldn't be surprised if the platform's best days are behind it. You know, agreed. Because at the same time, there's like, what's new? What has Twitch done for us lately? You know, as streamers, as affiliates, what are these new features that are going to set it apart from a website like YouTube that is gunning for it? YouTube wants to be the name in regards to streaming, video game streams. YouTube is the only place willing to spend money. Now horny 40-year-olds watch 20-something-year-olds dance around half naked. If YouTube gives up, then there isn't much of a place for people to go. Right. But YouTube, I don't think YouTube has any inclination to stop what they're doing. They are spending millions of dollars to poach Twitch streamers and bring their audiences over. And YouTube again has been actively working to increase their live discoverability. They haven't mastered it yet, but keep in mind, you know what they've also done and have started doing and working on. YouTube is working on gift memberships, and YouTube has been working on creating a host/rating system. Again, these things are still new. These options are still being rolled out, but it's very clear. It's become very clear to me, at least, that Twitch wants to steal. I mean, YouTube wants to steal everything that Twitch does, improve on it, and they have their platform again 100 times more populated than Twitch's, and they have the pre-existing audience. I mean, like, they have the pre-existing infrastructure to cultivate a massive audience for streamers on the platform. Something Twitch does not have. They lost all the innocent by the time they hit campsites. Literally, when I got partnered, under the conditions I got partnered, that I got that check mark, I was like, oh, this place is a clown show. John became a clown show after Batsky got partnered. The girls on Twitch still have some semblance of family structure. If YouTube gives up, then there isn't much of a place to go. Who hit a campsite? Allegedly, Twitch is more of a moneymaker for streamers than... I mean, I believe that is true. Just because the wider range of an audience. I'd guess. Well, I mean, look at what's her face, man. Look at Amaranth. She does adult work and it sucks. I've watched some of those videos allegedly and they're awful. But cleans up and streams on Twitch. It's reputation laundering. It's okay to watch Twitch. It's not okay to watch the random, right? Yeah, no, you can watch, listen, you get the Twitch app, right? Just on your phone. Twitch is downloadable in every platform store. The Google store, the iOS store. It's above board. It's legit. You know, everybody can watch. Hey, I'm just watching somebody play video games. It's like, yeah, but why are their tits out? This is ASMR. This is fine. No, it's not adult. It's not adult content. I saw our friend VTuber stream. Oh, how was that? I forgot they were doing. I forgot that person existed. Listen, that broad's successful, man. Cringe? Is it full cringe? Fucking woof. Were people into it? Because she used to stream to like 300-400 people. I'd imagine that's still the case. The people who expect to be into it were into it. Oh, vey. Yikes. Yikes, John. Well, I'm not into it. I'm not into VTubers or that particular woman. She's an attractive woman, I'll give it to her. But no, I couldn't. Even when she wasn't VTubing. I don't even know if she does solo just VTubing now or a mixture of either things, but definitely not into it and wasn't into it even when she was just being cutesy on the internet. Remember when you met her in person though? Yeah, not nearly as attractive in person with her dad. With her lover / dad figure. That camera's doing a lot of work. It is, dude. The camera, the makeup, the lighting. it adds a good 3 points. But that's Twitch, dude. That's always been Twitch. Has it always been thoughts? Okay. All right, it's 10:15. I'm taking off. I've been on a little shy of 4 hours. I'm gonna go finish this doodling in my couch and TV time. And you know what? I'm gonna play some Overcooked 2 with the lady. We're gonna cook up some meals. And I'll see you guys, I'll probably see you guys Monday. Maybe tomorrow, maybe. Until then, I'll see you in the Discord. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being awesome.